So, could you just put the shoes on out there? Like, don't let your socks touch. I have Blue Bottle 20-ounce iced coffee. Like, I haven't touched it.
I would love that.
Almond milk, okay?
Yeah, that's great.
No, this is good.
You may have heard me say this on the podcast if you've watched a few, but
Yeah.
the first few minutes I'm a little...
That's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry about it, Ray.
Let me take a shower. I'll be back in 20 minutes. Going. Hair check.
Scoot doo, blabbity blue, scoop dee. Oh yeah!
This is delicious coffee.
Oh, it's good to be back.
You?
Shout out to my audience with TMJ disorder.
Right.
This bud's for you.
Let me see if I can. Sounds really good.
What's that?
Sounds really good.
Sounds good?
Yeah. I feel like I'm in that SNL sketch where they do the sweaty balls, you know?
Do I know?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sweaty Balls has come a long... Comedy has come a long way.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you ever watch old sketches?
Old
SNL
one-
sketches?
Yeah. My wife likes to watch the new SNLs, and I always get nostalgic for the old ones because, look, no offense to them. It's a great show, but it's not like it used to be.
Well, we have a couple of the new cast members that say otherwise. Guys, come on in!
Get the fuck out of here, you.
Juggling and doing... Yeah, the older... my buddy John DeWalt and I, we tried to watch, and maybe could have. I didn't give it enough of a chance. But last week we put on Wayne's World.
Mm-hmm. Didn't hold up?
I mean...
Damn.
I didn't get out of the basement, so I could have held up. But, I mean, it was just... It's hard.
I remember laughing so hard at that bit where they're doing their product placement and turning the camera. Nobody's ever done this before. Holy shit! It's
But does that stuff hold up to you?
I don't know. I haven't seen it since I was a teenager, to be honest.
Well, this might be either a very exciting or boring episode, but we're gonna do a special Wayne's World episode.
Yeah.
Welcome back to it. My name's Rick Glassman, and here it is. This is a long time in the making. Just I've done 100. I don't need to do the intros anymore.
That's true. It's a lot.
Thank you for coming over.
It's a real pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, when I have somebody like you, your kind.
A Jew?
Yeah, I only have Jews.
Yeah.
When I have somebody on you're somebody who I've known for years now, but we don't know each other well.
Yeah, that's true.
And I always get caught in this weird place of speaking through the guest to the audience, and I'm not good at it. And I would love to put you on the spot and have you maybe tell us, first if you could slate, that's your camera, and then tell us how we know each other. Is that okay?
Yeah, great. Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm Nelson Franklin, 6'5".
Can we see you with your glasses off?
Yeah, absolutely. Much better with the glasses, if you don't mind my saying. I think I have my face is a little fat, and the glasses help to just bring it down.
I didn't notice.
Oh, good.
I think you look good.
Oh, thanks so much.
And then we'll do I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's been a big struggle for me.
I'm going to cut you off with my question. I did a fitting once where they asked me to take my glasses off.
Yeah.
And as a joke, I just did that. Obviously, big.
Yeah.
And they let me have my glasses off for, maybe 20 seconds before they said, I don't think it matters. I think we're having them on. And I was like, I can't tell them I was joking.
Yeah.
But
because you got to give them more credit. You don't want to insult their intelligence or whatever, but they probably didn't know.
They probably didn't know.
Yeah.
Which is I guess, how could they respond if they're not sure, right?
Oh, God. He's one of those guys. You can put him on.
Yeah,
whatever.
The voice is way too high.
Yeah.
All right, so yes.
Turn off my phone here. So, we've known each other for a long. I was just thinking about on the way over here the first time we ever met. Jesus, Siri just activated when I tried to turn my phone.
Unless I remember wrong, I have a picture of when we first met.
Was it on, are you talking about David's movie or something else?
Didn't you go to Orange High School? Yeah, on Futile.
Yes. Well, no, it was before that, actually. And this is the thing that maybe... So, I met you in the audition waiting room for Undateable. I remember it very well.
Where?
At the Fox lot. At a little bungalow. The creator guy. I can't remember his name right now.
Bill Lawrence.
Yeah, it was his office.
But he's not on Fox. He's on Warner Brothers.
Is that now or is that from before?
Always been Warner Brothers.
Maybe it was something else.
Put this part in fast forward until we figure out what lot he was on.
Yeah, But look, I remember meeting you.
But was Bill in there, or was it the pre-read?
I thought it was. Maybe it was. No. It was the real deal.
Oh, that was in Culver.
Culver, yeah.
I
Okay,
remember.
maybe it wasn't Fox. It was Culver, yeah. There were like French doors. It was a really cramped space. And you're the kind of person. So at this point in my career, I wasn't like that schmoozy in the audition room. Now I am, but I wasn't that comfortable back then. And you came on very strong and introduced yourself. You were like, "Oh, I know you. Hey, I'm Rick. You know what? Oh, this is so fun." And you started talking to me.
What was the show that you were on with the stoplights?
Traffic Light.
Traffic.
Yeah.
I like that show.
did,
I watched the whole. Was there only one season? Because I watched all of it. If there
Yeah,
was,
it was just 12. Yeah.
I watched them all, and I knew you from that. It's funny how I didn't remember you from the
Incredible.
audition room.
Yeah.
Adrenaline must have been going.
Yeah.
But if I said I know you, that must have been it, because I liked that show.
And you immediately asked me to play basketball with you on that weekend.
Because you're tall?
Yeah, oh, you're so fucking tall. We could just, I got a game going. So immediately it triggered like a lot of things for me, which is like, oh, I'm uncomfortable talking to somebody new when I'm like in pre-audition mode. And then also like, yeah, I'm a tall guy who's supposed to be good at sports. This is like a thing that's been dogging me for a long time. And it's like, I can't show up and be an asshole. And
So tell me what the difference between you, who already was a lead on a network show.
Right.
I had just I was days away from booking an El Pollo Loco commercial. So
did you do an El Pollo Loco commercial?
yeah, we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Pardon the interruption. I know you're enjoying the show, but I just want to let you know something. Thanks to Babbel, the #1 selling learning language app, there's a brand new addicting and fun way to learn a new language. Babbel doesn't feel like you're going to school. They set up their courses in 15-minute bite-sized game function style lessons. Go to Babbel.com and use promo code TYSO. That's BABBEL.com, promo code TYSO, to get an extra 3 months free. Babbel, language for life. Hello, Glassman boppers, and good morning, fellow goblin friends. It's your boy, Rick Glassman, and have I got some fresh news for you. Hello? Fresh.
Nice.
What?
Oh, I thought you were saying hello to me.
No, I was saying the name of the brand.
Oh, I think they just want to be called Hello Fresh, not Hello, Fresh.
Okay, I'll try it again. What's up, everybody? And a big shout out to Hello Fresh, like that. With HelloFresh, you get seasonal, pre-measured, delicious, mouth-watering ingredients delivered right to your door. HelloFresh.com/TYSO12. Use promo code TYSO12 for up to 12 free meals and free delivery. That's HelloFresh.com/TYSO12. Use promo code TYSO12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping.
Citrus mango? Mm-hmm. Fire grilled chicken with fresh mango salsa, obviously. Avocado bacon?
Yeah.
Hand-sliced avocado and crispy bacon. I feel like I don't even know you anymore.
And we're back. Look, I never knew that you had a brother. You never told me that.
I played both parts.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are one of the best, man.
You think I was confident before that El Pollo Loco commercial?
Yeah.
You should see how many people I asked to play basketball now.
Well, that's like that's an asset of yours, being comfortable and confident when you're talking to new people and stuff. That's the thing I had to grow into over several years, and you had it from the get-go there.
What did you not have it because you were uncomfortable, or because you're in like audition mode?
Right.
Those are two different things.
Yeah, I guess that was it. Yeah, I audition mode for me, it used to be this like dead serious thing where I was like, up until the second they called my name, I'm running the scene in my head and being like looking very serious and anxious looking and stuff. And that was sort of my ritual. And I wasn't bad at auditioning. That's just what I did. And now it's more like, okay, whatever. And I hadn't met everyone yet. And at this point, I feel like I met everybody.
Funny.
That I've
you think
auditioned.
you've met everybody? Because everybody that like goes in for the same parts as you.
But not even the actors. I just mean who's in the room. They're not going to be mystery people anymore.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
So you think you've just been doing it long enough?
Sure. I mean, I've been doing pilot season every year for, 15 years now or something. And,
bring this down. You could bring it back still, but so you're not covering your face as much.
Thank you.
And then you turn it up.
Thanks, boss. There we go. So that's the thing. This is a podcast, but it's a visual. What is this? There should be a different word for that, maybe.
Yeah. I like to say it's a podcast, but with a visual or something like that.
Oh,
I think of it like
I can't
a
believe
show,
I guessed
kinda.
it right on. Yeah, that's amazing.
I took it from you. I was looking for what to call it.
Yeah, maybe I suspected that.
So I would love to. I don't know if it's even allowed or possible, but it would be so funny to see if we could get the audition
for that. I probably read for your role.
Do you remember what the role was?
I can't remember.
Was it the guy who said tits a lot?
Oh, maybe it wasn't then. I just assumed because we were both like tall, glasses wearing guys with brown hair that we were going to the same part, but I don't remember what it was.
So you've been doing pilot season since you were 20?
Sorry, when I was 22, so 13 years or something. And that's when I got that show Traffic Light when I was 22. And I was supposed to be playing a guy who was like 39 or whatever.
You were a dad, right?
I wasn't a dad. The other Denman was a dad, David Denman, who played Roy on The Office. He was on that show as well.
Did you do you did Office season 4 and then 6, right?
Yes.
But you did Veep, you did Blackish, and there was another show you were on that was like at the same time.
New Girl.
Mm-hmm. Did you film those all at the same time? Did they come out at the same time? How does that work?
Yeah, I had a great day once where this only happened to me once in my whole life, but I had my manager called it the Holy Trinity, where I worked on 3 lots in the same day one time. Where I did.
Wait, how?
I did New Girl at like 6 a.m.
Fox.
Yeah, at Fox. Then I did. I had to go do Blackish. Traveled across to Burbank to Disney. And then Veep was at Paramount, so that wasn't too bad. And I did that that was a night thing that I did.
And all the shows knew that you have hard outs.
Yeah, it was like genius work from my manager and his assistant to make that day work out. That was crazy.
Veep is Allison Jones.
Yes.
Blackish and New Girl it's 3 different casting directors.
It's Shevchenko and I'm getting the name wrong, and I'm gonna be embarrassed. Christy and Jesus Christ.
Do this. I'll ask you again.
Yeah.
And then just say whatever, and then we could look it up later, and I'll VO it.
Okay, sure.
But do you mind if we keep the first part in?
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just embarrassed because I love them dearly, and I'm on the spot. That's
well. Then do one of these. Why don't we talk for another like 5 seconds, and then be like, oh, what am I talking about? And then just say whatever, and then we'll get a pickup later.
We'll get a pickup later. Yeah.
So that's Allison Jones, and then...
Yeah. Oh, wait a second. I remember who it is. It's Anya Koloff and Michael Nicolo.
Okay, how much am I going to forget to get the voiceover? And you just say that. So you auditioned for them the week before?
What, before I do the episode?
I'm saying you coincidentally, your shoot days are all on the same day.
Yeah.
You auditioned probably around the same time then.
Oh, no. I mean, I think at that point I had already been on those shows for enough time that I was just recurring, and then they just brought me back on the same day.
Never had that. Once a friend wrote my voice in a cartoon.
Yeah.
But I've never been offered something.
I didn't have I'm just saying I was on all those shows for many years, and so at that point I already had the role on all 3 shows, and,
gotcha.
And I just happened to shoot them all on the same day that year.
What's the best experience as a guest star versus leading?
Versus leading?
Because you've done every. Have you done every show?
No, just a ton.
You've done all the shows that have won awards.
Yeah, I guess I've won some. I mean, they've all won some awards. Yeah, I mean, here's what it is. Leading, like having a lead role on a show, obviously it's like the best possible situation, and it's just amazing. And you already to have gotten to that point, you already have sort of a relationship with the writers and the creator and stuff to a point where you're sort of you feel good about what you're doing. And a guest star is a little more like, I hope I'm doing this right, and I'm just my first day here and all that stuff. But I guest starred on Veep constantly. I was not a regular on Veep ever. I just guest starred like 5 or 6 times a season, and that was the best guest star experience of all time.
Did Allison Jones get you that?
Yes. In fact, the reason I got that job is because Allison was holding the auditions for the pilot of Veep, and she was having Zach Woods be the reader for that audition day. And then Zach's grandmother passed away tragically, and he had to leave town all of a sudden. And so she called me at 11 o'clock at night and was like, can you come in tomorrow?
Everything's coming up, Nelson.
And be the reader, yeah. So I read for 6 hours with Armando in the room, and that is how you pronounce it. I called him Armando for many years.
I did it once, too. We have an improv background.
Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry about the grandma's. I was just...
Oh, it's okay. Look, I didn't know her, but I know Zach, and he's a lovely guy. But after I read all day, they threw me a bone and gave me a 1-episode guest star role, which then turned into a...
Was that in the first season?
Yeah, the last episode of the first season, yeah.
Allison Jones is... I've talked about it on the podcast numerous times.
Yeah.
We met on the National Lampoon biopic.
Yeah.
And I auditioned for the role of Harold Ramis.
That's right.
And that was with casting director Allison Jones.
That is right.
And Allison Jones...
Terrific casting director.
Fantastic. We're actually having her on our podcast next month.
I hope to get to work with her again.
I'll let her know.
Okay.
And we had what we call in the biz a general.
Yes, we did.
Yes, a general, for those of you that don't know, is a meeting that serves no purpose, but you feel like, oh, I'm going to be successful because I'm meeting people now. Incidentally, out of all the generals I've had, 3 of which I've maintained relationships with.
All right.
You were one of them.
Who are the other 2?
Allison Jones, and I have to imagine there's a 3rd. I have to imagine.
Allison Jones is fantastic. I actually just saw the movie Booksmart last night.
How was it?
It's really fun.
Great.
Really, really enjoyable. I think people are going to love it, but she cast that movie, and every last person in the film is awesome.
She's one of the greats. We're going to get her on the podcast soon.
Amazing.
There are 2 people in this business that I've met with that feel like we're working together. Allison Jones as a casting director.
Oh, she's great.
And you as whether you're as a producer, a writer, casting director, whatever your job is in that moment. Sure. Which is, I come in and you want to get the best out of me.
Yeah.
Not saying that other casting directors don't feel this way. This is my personal experience and feeling has been feeling this way about her and you.
I tested for The Office.
What character?
Dwight.
Yeah?
And
shout out to Allison Jones, who casted that show. We'll be having her on soon. She's done, she did Fresh Prince, Golden Girls, Veep, Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Office, 40-Year-Old Virgin. She's amazing.
And Superbad, most importantly. She discovered half the people in that movie,
Make sure, it's a great poll. When he said Superbad, it looked like he was fondling balls. Do you know the dick and balls they draw at the end of Superbad? Well, let's see if we could put that in your hand there.
All right. You want me to do it again, or is it going to be? It's going to have been there.
We could do a pickup.
Yeah. Okay.
But come up with Superbad, but make it even more so.
Sure. Okay. Do you want me to notice it or not?
No.
Okay. Well, also, you can't forget that she did Superbad. She discovered all those. That everyone in that movie became a big movie star eventually.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
You better not do a rug carpet.
If you're looking for just the right flooring, you need choices. And at Marshall Carpet One, you'll certainly find them.
And we're back. I can't believe you did that, even though I asked you not to.
Or if I put in a real ad.
Yeah. Congrats on that money, buddy.
Thank you. But the reason I bring up Allison is that's who booked us for Futile Super Gesture.
Yep.
She's been my biggest champion in this business. I've gotten more jobs from her than any representation.
Oh, same here. She put me in Scott Pilgrim and also...
you were in Scott Pilgrim, I forgot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she did that. She does everything. It's basically like she's this entity where it's like, oh, we're going to do a big deal comedy. Who do we get? And then her name is just at the top of the list. And it's amazing that she's a fan of yours because that's just means you're great because she has great taste.
You're told you want to have this spiritual acceptance of, it doesn't matter what other people think.
Yeah.
And you could argue either end of that, but we're in a business where, paying rent matters what other people think.
Yeah.
And there are some people that you just like, I have this hoodie not passed at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And, I wear it as an ironic badge. Like, we all have our obstacles. This one's it's who cares? I'd like to be passed there, but who cares? There are some things when somebody likes you. It's like, I remember I felt that way when I first met Blake Griffin. And I don't want to get into it now. I've talked about it on a podcast, but there's a saga. We talked about it when we podcasted together. We met at Just for Laughs. We became buddies. We were going to maybe start a podcast together. He came to my house in the valley where he's ducking the entire time. Yeah. And then I got a little too familiar with him. And we kind of da-da-da. But we're friends again.
Okay.
Well, I'm friends with him. And but the point is, when Blake Griffin likes you, I'm the man.
Yeah.
Allison Jones is that.
Yeah.
When she likes you.
I don't want to leave out Ben Harris either, her associate. He's a huge part of the whole operation.
Shout out to Ben. We'll put his Instagram handle up here, and we'd love to get Ben on the podcast. Yeah. Love Ben.
He's the best.
I wanted to get back into the futile, but that is reminding me of a question I have for you. You have a horrible story from Curb?
How do you know that?
I don't know it. My girlfriend told me.
How does she know?
She helps me with the podcast. She helps me pick guests and research guests, and she's helping produce stuff. Wow. But she told me that, and I didn't even ask her what it was. I wanted to ask you, but
well, that's another show Allison casts. It's Curb, and
I bring that up just real quick because I just had an audition for it a couple weeks ago, and
me too.
I did probably the same role.
President of Netflix.
Oh no.
Oh, okay, different. No, I didn't get it.
I'll tell my story after, but I auditioned with, like, you're supposed to put it on tape, but it's heavily improvised.
Yeah.
So who am I going to do this audition with? Somebody who's going to be trying to be funny? Ben did it with me, and Ben, he does a great Larry.
I did it with Ben too. He was amazing. In fact, when I watched it back, I said, "You're better in this than I am."
Well,
you can't even see his face.
That's why we didn't get it.
Yeah, just cast him, Jesus.
So tell me the story.
It's just I'll never forget it because it was the worst moment of my. I had two worst moments of my career where I was just like humiliated, and that was the far and away the worst thing that ever. So
will you explain also what the setup for that type of audition is?
Yeah,
and how
absolutely.
different it is?
So when you go in for Curb, you're auditioning with Larry in the room and with, what's his name?
Jeff Schaefer?
Yeah, absolutely. Other Jeff.
Jeff Garland.
Jeff
Schaefer
Garland.
is the EP on it. That's
Oh,
why
it is? Oh, I thought you were talking about. Okay, never mind. So you're already freaked out because they're in there and it's Larry and oh my God, how are you ever gonna, much less be in the same room with them? But he's doing the scene with you. And the other thing is, there's no script for the audition. They hand you a note card when you get to the waiting room that says sort of what's happening in the scene.
You're like a 2-sentence situation, maybe one key word that they were going to play with.
So I was going in. This was during the season where they were like rebooting Seinfeld in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Greatest season of television of all time.
It's unbelievable. And there's a part where Larry and Jason Alexander go have lunch, and they split the bill, and Jason Alexander tips very well, and Larry tips very poorly. And the waiter sort of notices it. And so the scene we were auditioning for is Larry has now come back to the restaurant by himself, and you remember what a bad tipper he is. That's it. That's all you get. You're serving Larry. He has tipped you poorly in the past. That's it. So I'm in the waiting room, like sweating bullets. There's a lot of like impressive people there. And the person before me is Chris Parnell, okay? Who's like, one of the... So
Cut to a clip of him asking you if you play basketball.
He's killing it. He's just knocking it out of the park. They're laughing so hard you can hear everything through the door. They're like gasping for air. They're laughing so hard.
He's amazing.
He's unbelievable. And by the way, he did not get it. So he comes out of the room, and as the door is like swinging open, you can hear them like, this like still dying down. And then, seconds later, they call my name. And when I walk in, like Larry has his glasses off and he's like cleaning the tears off his face or whatever. And the first thing Allison says is, Allison's not even there. Allison is not there. So I walk in the room and Jeff looks at his piece of paper and he's like, "Oh, Nelson, this is Nelson." And he turns to Larry and he's like, "This is the kid that Allison was talking about. We know you're incredible, buddy. We know you're great. Allison said great things about you. And look, no pressure on this audition. If this doesn't go well, I'm sure we'll work on something in the past. Just know that we already love you." And so this is like the worst setup ever. It's like...
That sounds like the best setup ever.
No, because I have to meet these expectations. All right. And I'm not trying to be super vain here. I'm just explaining the setup to the worst failure of my entire life. So I'm already stressed out because Larry's there. I'm already stressed out because Parnell just killed it. Like, how could I ever top that? It's just never going to be like that. Even if I was as good as Parnell, they're already laughed out from literally 60 seconds ago when he left the room. So I do the scene, and it is just tumbleweeds. I get nothing. I start to talk to Larry, and I'm like, I'm not trying to be a hero here. I'm just like lobbing softballs up for him, like, "Oh, hey, good to see you again." And he just sits silently, doesn't respond. Like, so now I'm just trying to write this scene here without I get like 3 lines into it, and Larry goes, "You know what? Stop. You came into the scene camera right. I want you to start again and come in from the other side." And I was like, "Okay, sure." So I do it again. I tried to do some bit about Bernie Madoff because that was happening. Like maybe Larry's money got tied up in that, and that's why he couldn't tip me so well.
Right, that was in the season.
Was it really?
Yeah. Did you not know that? Do you think they took it from you?
Maybe they stole it from me.
There was the line that was Cheryl's big laugh.
Oh.
Because in the Seinfeld reunion episode, George, he goes, "Madoff!" Because George got all his money taken from some Ponzi scheme. But Cheryl, who they got divorced, and she took half of his money, invested it better, took the money out or something.
Right, okay. Anyway, so I got, I sort of limp my way through the scene. Larry says like 3 words the whole, like I'm trying to have a conversation with this guy. He's just shut it down. And, I sort of like limp to the finish line. It sort of ends in a weird way. And Jeff's like, "Okay, maybe next time." And I just leave I've never heard no in the room before. That was the first time. And it was just so horrible. You know, it's like Larry David. He's my hero. Also, he's like, I don't know how much of a dick he is in real life. I don't know the guy, but I felt like he was a big time, that he was being really mean. But it was horrible. It was so horrible. And after I got out of there, I wrote an email to Allison Jones apologizing. And I said, I embarrassed you today. You sent me straight to the producers. There was no tape preceding that. You talked me up. And I just fucking...
Did she write you back?
Yeah, she said, who cares?
Yeah.
Fuck him. She's great.
Yeah, that's tough. I hearing that story, it doesn't sound as bad as knowing, having had gone through something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, it's just like that wasn't the right role for you in the right day. Who cares?
Yeah.
But it's with Larry.
Ugh, yeah.
And have you auditioned with Larry again, or just the Zoom one?
Just the Zoom one from the other day, yeah. Yeah.
I've had 3 auditions for Curb.
I've never been back except for this thing. Just go ahead.
So you're back?
Yeah, yeah.
This most recent one was Zoom, not with Larry, but the first 2 were with Larry. And I didn't obviously get any of them, but still the coolest experiences I've ever had.
Yeah. Oh, you loved it.
I loved it.
Wow.
I felt differently about Larry.
Yeah.
I thought Larry was what we see on television.
Yeah.
And he, no disrespect, I had a better... I mean, I didn't get it, but...
I'm sure
he was laughing a lot.
Oh, see, that's amazing.
And and that still feels great. But what I heard after that was Larry is a laugher. Larry laughs a lot.
Okay.
But our job, usually, when it's a role that we would be going in for on that show, is not to be funny. Our job is to create a grounded environment for him to be able to pick apart.
Yeah.
So, not knowing anything, you have great instincts. I'm sure you didn't do well.
No.
Based on what your feelings were. But also, there is a world where you did exactly what you're supposed to do, but he couldn't play into that scene with you.
Yeah.
There was no chemistry for that scene.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the regrets I have for my Curb auditions, and I realized this after the first one, and then going into the second, don't be funny, Rick. And I knew that going into the second, but I got some great laughs from him for the first one, so I wanted him again. And then the third one was, do not be funny. And then the third one was, I wasn't funny.
Yeah.
I was nothing. It was bad. I just was. But we're not supposed to be funny in that room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Parnell got laughs. He didn't get it.
He didn't get it, exactly. He was way too funny, I guess. Jeez.
I think our job for Curb Your Enthusiasm is one thing, is to be as believable as possible and to give him a stage.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
But I learned that's my whole gig on Veep was just Mr. Straight Man for 7 years, and that's all. I mean, I got into it eventually. I was too young. I look back on my early jobs, and I always regret everything, even if they were fine. I'm always like, oh, Jesus.
How so? Your choices, your comedic choices.
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel like wasn't as good back then, you know.
I guess that's good, right? You got better.
Yeah, I guess so. I hope so.
You went to drama school.
Yeah.
But was comedy the plan?
I guess so. I mean, I think that you have a much harder job than me because you are a comedian, right?
You mean stand-ups?
Not even I just think the umbrella of comedian, it's like stand-up, it's like you doing this podcast, it's like doing shows every week. Maybe it's not stand-up, but it's like improv shows or sketch shows. And just the self-promotion and the touring and everything. I'm literally just sit at home and wait to get a fucking phone call, and then I go audition. And
Tell me the difference between what you're saying. You're saying doing live shows versus just on camera.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I love doing live shows. And
you used to do stand-up, right?
At best, I dabbled when I lived in New York. Still, I went to NYU. I went to Tisch drama school.
Shout out to Tisch. By the way, we'll put their Instagram handle up.
Yeah, it's like,
what was the point of drama? Not the point. That sounds so condescending or judgmental. Like, why drama school? Did you want to be an actor?
Yes. And
it wasn't necessarily comedy.
Not necessarily. No. When I was in high school, I was a big nerd. I had
got a pic.
Sorry?
We have pictures? Do you have pictures of you?
Oh, yeah. I'll send you something.
Great.
Just look at this one. Or this one over here.
Just put 2 dicks again with glasses.
Yeah. No, I was so awkward. I had my hair parted down the center either side, and I had the braces like the entire time I was there in high school. And, I had 2 friends. I was into playing, online role-playing games, and I had a 4.0 GPA. I was like a big-time, shy, quiet, studious kid. And then I tried to take an art class as an elective in high school, and it was full. So they dumped me into because I was a freshman. You get the low priority, and they dumped me into the next available.
This is high school.
This is high school. 10 minutes down the street, I went to Campbell Hall High School down here. Shout it out.
So you accidentally went to drama in ninth grade?
They put me in the drama class.
Next thing you know, you're bombing in front of Larry.
Yeah, it was crazy. I had like an anxiety attack, and I told my dad, you got to call the school and get them to take me out of this class. And my dad was like, no, I think you should do it for a little while because you know.
Sorry to interrupt, but
yeah.
but your dad is a writer.
Yes, he is.
He's done like awesome. He's written for Bill Murray and
yes.
Steve Martin. He's a industry dad, or is he just somebody who got some jobs and now do whatever you do?
What do you mean? He got some jobs and then
no, I'm saying like there are people who grow up in the shadow of, or their dad wants them to do this or to not do this.
Right. I can't believe my dad encouraged me to continue acting. I mean, for him, he just thought it would be a way for me to like come out of my shell a little bit, and that was it. Absolutely, that was the first time I started making friends and talking to girls, and like it opened a huge door for me. And doing the high school plays and musicals.
Do you sing?
Terribly, sir. Terribly.
Show me.
Show you?
Is there anything you can sing?
No.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Every song I sang in the high school musicals, they had to like tune it down 4 octaves or whatever. I mean, you can hear my voice. It's ridiculous. And so I think he enjoyed it. He thought I was good in the plays or whatever. And I told him I want to go to acting school. And he was like, sure. Didn't even flinch. I would like have a really hard time telling my son, yeah, you should pursue a career in acting.
Tell me how it helped you talk to girls and get confidence.
I did scenes with girls, and I had to talk to them, and I had to rehearse with them outside of class, or like, we would like meet up in the study hall to like go over our lines and shit. It was just stuff that we had to do as like homework. And literally the first time I was ever like hanging out with girls by myself and stuff, and I liked it instead of shying away from it. It was good. So
did they like you? Did they think you were good?
Yeah, I think so.
So you're like good at something.
Yes, exactly. I found a niche which I did not have before. I was just blindly doing all my schoolwork and being like, this is the path to success or whatever. But I didn't find a thing I was into until that happened.
How long were you doing plays until you decided that you wanted to go to college for this?
I guess, in my high school at Campbell Hall, they did one play and one musical each year, and I did the play and the musical the first year. I did the play and the musical the second year. So I guess my junior year, I was like, yeah, I want to keep doing this. And I didn't know I was going to be doing comedy. I thought I was funny. And when I went to Tisch, it was all very serious. I went to the Stella Adler School of Acting, shout it out. There's 6 or 7 different acting schools within Tisch. And I went to this one that was very serious, and they force you to only do classics for 2 years.
I want to, but I don't know where it is, and it would waste too much time. But I have to acknowledge, I want to snap to a Stella Adler book that I have somewhere.
Yeah. Art of Acting, maybe? Something like that.
Yeah, The Art of Acting.
Yeah.
But since I moved, I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
I could have had you sign it. Anyway.
So they were dead serious over there. You could only do classics for 2 years.
What's
Nothing
a classic?
Like Shakespeare, Moliere, Chekhov, the old shit, wild. And I was feeling suffocated. I was just doing Shakespeare all day long, every day, and I was like, I need an out. So me and my friends, we made a sketch comedy group, and we became fully invested in that just as much as school.
What year is this? This is 2003 through 2006?
I graduated high school in 03, so this is like
04.
04, yeah.
So 04, that is pre-YouTube. Like YouTube's about to come out in a couple years. So your sketches were not video sketches. These are stage shows.
We did make video sketches that we just uploaded onto our own website. Our sketch group was called Back of the Line, which we voted on it. I didn't like that name.
Is the URL still up?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I have to Google this.
Do you think you have any sketches? Could I show anything?
Yeah, I'll find something for you.
If not, buy this mattress. Hey, Betty.
Hi.
Oh, hi. You know how I don't like going to the grocery store?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it just puts a real drag on my day, doesn't it, babe?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I got good news and I got bad news. What do you want first?
Well, what is the good news?
Well, the good news is HelloFresh is now a sponsor of Take Your Shoes Off podcast. Have you heard of HelloFresh?
Have I heard of them? Yes.
Then you know HelloFresh is America's #1 meal delivery kit with over 90% of their ingredients sourced directly from farmers. Your ingredients come pre-sized, so there's no waste. And what's great about this is there's no commitment. You could easily change your delivery days or skip a week just like that.
Wow, that's even better than I thought. And I'm looking at the website, and Mindy Kaling's done a collaboration with them.
Wait, Mindy Kaling, the writer and actress from the hit series The Office?
Yeah, have you seen?
Well, that's the bad news. Remember I said there's good news and bad news? The bad news is The Office is now only streaming on the Peacock network instead of Netflix.
Oh.
Yeah, I almost forgot to tell you guys about that. Yeah. So.
Okay.
So while you're at home not watching The Office on Netflix, keep in mind that because they pre-measure so there's no waste, HelloFresh is 28% cheaper than going to your grocery stores and over 70% cheaper than going to a restaurant. Cook delicious meals while saving time and money. America's #1 meal delivery kit. Go to HelloFresh.com/TYSO12 using promo code TYSO12 for up to 12 free meals and free shipping on the first meal kit. That's HelloFresh.com/TYSO12. Use promo code TYSO12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. I remember taking Spanish in high school and getting kicked out of class for being too good looking. But it was hard to learn a new language. 1 minute you have to add an O at the end of the word, and the next minute you're sent to the principal's office for being too loud and annoying. What's great about Babbel is you don't have to go to the principal's office, and it doesn't feel like school. It's easy. They're little games. They're 15-minute little games that teach you real conversational skills, and they don't use AI like other language learning apps. They're built by people to use conversations that you would actually use in your everyday life. I don't need to know if the cheese is old and moldy. I've never used that sentence before. That's from Encino Man, Betty. I just remember the cheese is old and moldy. Where is the bathroom, please?
Very good.
Yeah. Or should I say, puedo ir al baño, por favor? With Babbel, you could choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, German, and TYSO.
What's the TYSO language?
We'll put in a fart sound effect, okay?
Perfect.
Per fart. Start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Hey, Betty, guess what?
You learned to speak French?
We learned to speak French.
Oh.
What do you guys think? Should I have left that part in? If you think I should have left that part in, comment we. If you think that could have been taken out of the commercial, go to Babbel.com and use code TYSO for an extra 3 free months. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Go to Babbel, Babbel.com, and use promo code TYSO. And we're back. That was hysterical and or very comfortable.
I gotta, as an aside, why is it called Marshall and not Glassman?
It's a great question.
Okay.
I would love to do a produced, like the way Tony Stark's dad, is his name Tony also?
Is he Tony the Second?
Yeah, is he Tony Stark Jr. or is it just because of Robert Downey Jr.? Mr. Stark,
Yeah.
When you know he's talking to camera in like that, you know what I'm talking about? You get it. If you don't, we'll cut to a clip of like doing a documentary. You know, it's an interesting, but my dad's best friend, Mark, he's in the carpet business. Mark's father, Marshall, created it. I did an episode at Marshall Rug Gallery in the 90s. I don't know. I love it. I was at home. Mark Norman. Do you know Mark Norman?
I don't know him personally, but I know.
Stand-up comedian
Yeah.
who also, in the past year or two, has become like both underground and very popular. Like he does great online, and he's great on podcasts, and like a lot of his stuff go viral. I say that because he draws a great audience, and he was in Cleveland when I was doing a show, so we did a podcast at my dad's rug store, and people thought Marshall Rug Gallery was a fake place because I keep doing this commercial where it's a real local commercial. I do the voice of it, so it seems like it's fake.
You do an excellent voiceover.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And people saw it, like, we didn't know it was real, and they were very excited about it. So the next week, I did one with my dad, Mark, and me in the back offices just at the rug store. And it was a great... I love how I feel like I have this TYSO universe built. And because I've introduced my family, now it's not like this, oh, we had this big guest, and now it's a dad. People are into it. So it did well. Anyway, I'm plugging that episode, I guess. But Mark's dad started this carpet store. My dad was in the restaurant business. He got out and didn't have a job, and him and Mark and his brother, blah blah blah, they created the rugs section. So there was only flooring and tile. Then it was rugs. Technically, it's Marshall Carpet 1 and Rug Gallery, but I have, I'm a rug guy.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, nice rug.
Thank you. $9,000. No, I'm joking. But also, it's like a $4,000 rug, so I could have just said $4,000.
Is it like, why is it so expensive? Egypt or something? What is it?
or maybe it's 3,000. I don't know. It's just a hand knotted something or other.
It's beautiful. I could never make something. If I made this rug, I would charge $10,000.
Yeah, and it would just like it looked. I couldn't think of how to describe how it would look, but
I'm an excellent loomist.
if you never got into drama,
yeah,
I have a very sophisticated rug palette because in college I worked at my dad's rug store, and I would be the one who delivers and moves the furniture, and I've got a good taste. I've been in the most beautiful homes, and I've got a good taste of like really nice rugs. So like I have this new place, and I'm very happy in this new place. It's nothing huge, but before this, I was in this 1-bedroom apartment that the nicest rugs. Like I felt like the rugs I have in who gives a fuck?
I remember. I mean, look, I've seen your old episodes of your podcast. You always had lovely rugs in your old place.
I just love a rug.
Yeah,
but
it brings the whole room together, as they say.
From Big Lebowski?
I guess so. Yeah.
Were you in that?
No, sadly no.
I digress too much. With Marshall, you asked a question.
Yeah.
You're in drama school.
Yeah. So I'm doing sketch comedy on the side.
That's Marshall Carpet 1 and Rug Gallery. So you're doing drama. You're good at something.
Yeah.
You getting like your dicks out and stuff?
Yeah, a little bit.
In high school?
Not in high school. Oh, yeah, no, I lost my virginity in high school. Yeah.
But didn't you get a blowjob at college?
I got a blowjob before that, yeah.
Cut to a clip?
Got no clip for that, sorry. I mean, you could maybe animate it. That's too much work.
Yeah.
Drawing my dick alone would take months and months and months of work.
Is that because it's a complicated dick?
Just this square footage, it's too
big dick?
Yeah, huge dick.
You play ball?
Yeah.
All right. I go through this all the time, and it's not going to change. But Rick, that episode was so funny. Or Rick, why do you have to ruin everything with jokes? And I don't know the fucking difference, man. Watch another podcast, you cunt.
Yeah.
Not the audience. I'm saying you.
Yeah.
But like, but sometimes I catch myself like, oh, it's a bit much.
Do you feel like that happened so far?
Here's what I felt happened. I'm interested in what you're telling me, and that is the best case scenario because then it's like, if it's interesting, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Find jokes, that's great. But then there are certain moments where it's like you take a swing, and if you hit, that's what makes this podcast special. And if you don't, this is why I can't watch this podcast. And I felt myself is a bit much with rugs and me.
That's okay. I was into it, but if you felt it, I know the feeling you mean. It's always the worst feeling if you're doing any job and you're like, oh, I see what I'm doing right now. You lose the moment. You know what I mean?
But I don't know it. But I don't know if I do.
Oh,
like
you saying that'll happen, but you won't realize it's happening.
I'll get feedback from people, where it's only worth what it's worth, which is at the least something sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And my whole life I just like was oblivious to things, and I think I was great. So either I got lucky or it didn't matter, and here we are.
Yeah.
But there's like this overcorrecting I'm catching myself doing of like trying to understand other people's perspectives. I can disagree, but I'm trying. There's so much to calculate, and like. I had somebody on I had a Blake Anderson on from Workaholics.
I watched that episode, yeah.
Did you watch the whole episode?
I got about 45 in before
About an hour in.
Okay.
He talks about something with depression, and I'm interested. But then organically it goes a little bit away, and then I want to hear, he brought it up. I want to hear about this, and he didn't want to talk about it. It didn't feel as much he didn't want to talk about it because it was private as much as this is a comedy podcast. Let's be funny.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create a safe space to be like, we don't have to, but I mean, we get into this a lot on my podcast. There's a little bit of nothing. It's fine. It just took a little bit to get there.
Yeah.
And he finally was like, he's about to talk, and I had set up earlier. I had my thing of chapstick, and I did a
fart button. Yeah.
Yeah, and he shit on him, and that was hysterical. People lost it. One of the greatest inventions ever.
Yeah, I love that.
So now, I'm joking, by the way.
I do love it. I love fart and shit humor. Like that's my number one thing. Oh boy.
Do you mind that we made it come?
I wasn't expecting. That was my shit face. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
We finally get to the point where he's like, I was 8 years old. And then I mean, not that intense, but you know.
Yeah.
And then I go, ugh, right? Now, depending.
Just look at my reaction to that. I didn't even see it. I'm laughing my ass off.
Here's a great direction note to people. The audience will feel not what they would feel, but what the reaction shot tells them. So if it's getting serious, I do this and you laugh at it, they think it's funny because they're living through you.
True.
But if you are, now I'm an asshole.
Yes, you're right.
But I did the same thing. I don't know how you're going to respond.
You're totally right. And I never thought about it that way. But you're doing your thing. That's all you can do. I read the couple of first comments on that Blake Anderson episode, and it's like, oh, awkward, this is awkward, or whatever. Who fucking cares? Like, you know.
But at a certain point, I have to consider it.
Yeah.
The truth is, the thumbs up on that were 98%. Almost everything was positive.
Sure.
But there are some. So I just. It's just data. It's worth data to collect. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But reaction shots is so important, and the conversations. I want to do like I do Patreon exclusive episodes, and I've done a few like with behind the scenes stuff. People who help me edit, and people who I don't know if they'll get as big of numbers, but they're interesting conversations. And the conversations I have of how important the camera switches are on this to show, like you doing this, we need to have that, and. Also, I want the audience to know what if it makes me look bad or good. I want them to know why I'm doing this.
Yeah,
and that gets dangerous because when you see somebody get uncomfortable, now it wasn't Rick made a choice; it was Rick made somebody uncomfortable.
Yeah, and listen, I also have to give credit to the people who are uncomfortable because my default setting is I'm a people pleaser. I want to make you happy. Even if I was uncomfortable, I would probably just fake it and laugh it off. You know,
you as a drama man, you may have forgotten because of the being on stage. It's a little different. The audience knows when we're close enough on you. You have to be doing a performance for them to not know. Even just the things you don't do. Like if the energy shifts, if you're talking different or if you're looking away, it's just obvious.
I also just want to say, after having 100 episodes of this show, everyone should know what they're in for.
Here's the truth, and it's something I have to remind myself. There's probably a lot of people who don't. That's their first episode.
Yeah,
they came to see Blake.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is this guy pooping on Blake when he didn't want to talk about that stuff?
Yeah, I see that.
I get insecure. Like, I had such a good time. Did I upset you, guest? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had Will Forte on.
Yeah.
And who I met on Futile.
Yeah.
And
we should talk about Futile. Whatever. Go on.
I had such a great time with him. My girlfriend watched a moment that happened, and she felt a little bit bad for Will. And I called Will and I asked, and he said, "No, it was fine. I know what you were." But the time before calling Will then I was so hot.
Yeah.
Basically, it doesn't matter. I don't need to get into it now. But
I did not watch that one. Just so you know.
There was a part in the middle where I felt disconnected from him, and I also felt like this is Will Forte. This is a big get. I want this to be a big episode. So, in an attempt to get us here, hey Will, like I got a little aggressive. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't want to talk too much about it.
It's okay. I love him. Him coming in MacGruber is like made me laugh the hardest in my whole life.
Him coming in MacGruber?
Yeah, he's like fucking a ghost.
Oh, literally coming.
Yeah.
I think he meant like came to set as MacGruber.
No.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna shoot.
It's like top 3 moments. But I know like this is another part of your personality that I don't possess. Maybe just not as much as you, but the confidence to like. Like when you have guys like Larry Charles on the show, it's like, yeah, maybe I would have worked with Larry Charles one time, but I would never have the balls to then like, hey, can I get your number? Hey, you want to come to my house one day? Instagram. Okay. Even still, it's a big reach for me, and so I'm glad you had Will on. He's such a good guy.
Will came as he did a MacGruber. We did a bit where they're filming a new MacGruber, but it's very low budget, so everyone is wearing the same costume, and he had a bacon costume. And just improvising, he's doing all these bacon puns. He's just, he's amazing.
Yeah.
But
sorry, maybe I derailed what we were talking about there. You were just talking about how you feel uncomfortable sometimes with guests, and that makes other people uncomfortable. And you felt you had a moment with me earlier where you disconnected or something.
I didn't. It wasn't that. It was just like having a conversation is fine. Like we take swings. We are boring. We were too much or whatever, and then you like, it ebbs and flows. It's fine. But when you're putting out the product, you want it to. And I just felt myself a little too much. Sure. Even now, I'm feeling like I'm dissecting too much.
Well, let's move forward.
No. We'll move forward.
Yeah.
I do want to comment on one more thing.
Sure, please. Anything.
The confidence that, and it is, I have this confidence, this fearlessness.
Yeah.
But it isn't fearlessness. It's deferred fear, or it's deferred insecurity. Like,
are you projecting that you're that kind of person so that other people believe that about you? Or?
No, it's very real. What happens is I am here with you. I'm making choices. If there's something that I disagree with, I'm vocal about it. If there is a joke I want to make, I make it. And then you leave, and almost like if you put your hand on the stove, but you don't feel it for 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. Then like, what did I do? And another problem with that is when you feel it, you at least take it off right away. Mm-hmm. So if I got uncomfortable, I could have stopped in 20 seconds. But here I am 7 minutes later, still I have no idea. I'm going to have to bandage my hand in 10 minutes.
Yeah, interesting.
But I think that's part of, I don't know.
That is part of it. Look, it happens to me all the time when I do a day of work and then I come home and I get super high. All I can do is dissect everything I did that day and like, what an idiot I am. Fuck, I'm an idiot.
Are you ever happy with what you've done?
Yes, sometimes I am. Some actors say like I never watch what I do. I never saw that movie because I was in it. I don't watch my own performances. I think that is like cuckoo. I'm sure there have been people on this, but I watch it 3-4 times, watching everything. Oh my, what did I do there? Okay, yeah, I'll do that again next time or whatever. I'm like picking it apart, and every once in a while I'll watch something and I'm like, yeah, nailed it. That's great.
What is something that you were in that you nailed?
There are particular moments in Veep where I'm like, fuck you.
You're very good in it.
Thanks, man. I don't want to, it's
Why?
just, it's like everybody on that show is like a fucking rock star, And so for me, it's mostly just trying to keep up and not like fall behind them. And so every once in a while, I'm like elevated into their like atmosphere. And I feel like, oh yeah, I was able to keep up with whoever the hell the scene was. And that's a big achievement.
That's what a great show is. Like, you on a great show and or with great direction makes you look, not taking away from what you did, you're so good in it.
No, thanks,
but
man.
I'm just saying, like, it's ironic to feel like threatened or uncomfortable because we're around these great people. But no, you like, if you're on a team, you want the best players.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. It's like, it's just, I haven't worked on, have I? I guess that with Larry Charles is but I've never worked on something like that.
Right.
I've never worked on something like that. Could you?
A Futile's kind of like that.
Yeah, but Veep, you're watching the show, and then you enter the world, even though you were in the beginning. But like, I don't know what Futile's gonna be like. I'm with the people. I've worked with those people, but like to go into something that you're already a fan of, this world, it's already been created. But my question, and I kind of asked her earlier, could you compare guesting on a show that is with Julie Louis-Dreyfus versus a show that, it's a paycheck?
Yeah.
And do you feel more of a responsibility? Does that make sense?
More of responsibility on the Paycheck show or on the Julia show?
On the Julia show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, guest starring on TV shows is how I make my entire living, essentially. That's all I do.
How many do you do on average a year?
Somewhere between 15 and 25 episodes of whatever.
Of 2 to 3 shows?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. It's going to be slower for me these days because a lot of my shows went down. Like Veep is over and New Girl is over. And in the heyday when all these shows are still going, I'll be working every single month of the year, and that's like bananas.
But do you mind answering a money question?
Yeah.
Yes, you mind?
I don't mind, no.
Oh, never mind then. A guest star normally, like if it's not somebody who's established, you usually get a SAG minimum.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what it is. It's like 5,000-ish, 5 to 7.
It's less.
For a week of work?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's like 2,500.
But then people who have either they're reoccurring, like they need this person, and or they're an established person, it could be a lot.
Yeah.
Have you noticed your rates going like this over the years, or is it still depending on the show?
My rates always go up on shows that I've been on for a while. Like my Blackish rate is very high, but if I do a guest star, like I just did an episode of a show last week where I'm getting 2,500 for the week. Because
what show?
It's a new one. The working title is Hacks. It's a show about starring Gene Smart. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know the show.
It's a great show. It's another Mike Schur show, but it's a show by Paul Downs and Lucia Agnello, and they are like I guess they're not married yet. They're engaged, but they're this unbelievable. You would know Paul Downs because he played the trainer in Broad City. And
I never watched Broad City.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I hear.
I mean, look, if you don't know that show, then you probably don't know him.
I'll know when I
necessarily.
look up to put pictures up.
He's unbelievably funny. He's unbelievably talented, and his partner Lucia directed almost all those episodes of Broad City. They were very much part of the Broad
Lucia,
City.
is that? I'm taking a big swing here.
Yeah.
But is she directing the new cliffhanger?
Oh my God! No, I didn't even know there was a new cliffhanger.
with the guy from Game of Thrones and Aquaman. You know the whole I don't remember his name.
Momoa, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
I did a movie with Jason Momoa that comes out this year.
What movie?
It's called Sweet Girl. It comes out on Netflix.
You want to do a promo so when it comes out we could run this clip? Sure. I'll put this. So if I remember when it's coming out, I'll do a commercial within whatever week's episode that was. Say, I believe it might be wrong, but I believe this is gonna be episode 104.
Okay.
So what's up, everybody? It's Nelson Franklin from Take Your Shoes Off, episode 104, and I have some new, whatever your version of that is.
Yeah. Okay. As an ad for Sweet Girl.
As an ad for Sweet Girl that I'll put in that week's TYSO.
Great. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Hey everyone, it's Nelson Franklin from episode
107
of Take Your Shoes Off with Rick Glassman. Get excited. Get ready for Sweet Girl. Netflix 2021. There you go.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And we'll put some music under it and maybe some like war sounds or whatever.
Yeah. It's a rare job for me. It's like a dead serious dramatic action movie.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did you become friends with him?
Certainly not, but he was very nice.
We got to get him on the pod.
Oh God, that would be so great. Yeah, he's a lovely guy. I don't see why he wouldn't. Who cares?
He seems like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, look, physically, he is one of these people where you're in the same room with him, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. He's like a mountain, And he wasn't the mountain, but he is like his own mountain. He's huge. He's huge.
But I've seen him do panel shows in Conan, and he's like 10 years old.
Yeah, well, he's a real fun, playful guy. And
But I want you to go back to you're getting $2,500.
Yeah, sure.
Now, that's worth it because also $2,500 is a lot of money.
Oh yeah, for a week. If you made that every week, you'd be very happy.
But I feel like I want the audience to understand the context of when you only get so many shows with so many auditions. $2,500 is really sometimes the only job in 2-3 months if you're working a lot. And you're giving 25% away usually to representation.
Yes.
It's not a lot of money. Of course, you're not going to turn it down. But is there ever, where is the, hey, I'm going to come in like market penetration, and I'm going to do it for the lowest rate to make the relationships and the connections, and then hopefully become reoccurring. Versus when would you say, as experienced as you are, hey, I can't do this for less than $7,000 or whatever.
Yeah, it's if the show is good or bad. That's it. I mean, I never got a raise on Veep after 7 years. They never paid me more than I think I made $3,500 was the most I ever made, it's pretty fucked up. But they knew that they had me by the balls. They had everybody by the balls. Because who's going to say no to Veep? Everyone's dying to get on this fucking show. No one's going to say no because of the money. You'd be a fool.
Do you think that's a shitty part of this business, or is that good for them for playing their cards right?
For me, it was not shitty because I was enjoying myself so much. I would have paid them $3,500 to be on the show. But yeah, that sucks. And I don't want to, I know the producers of that show, and I have no ill will towards them at all. I love them. But
it's their job to keep it cheaper.
Yeah, that's right.
But
that's one of their flagship shows. It's a little weird. And
yeah, that is weird, especially. And you were in it for every season?
Yeah. Except for I left that show to be a regular on a different sitcom. So for the folks at home, you can guest star and they pay you low money, like $2,500. It's called Scale for the week. Or if you're just doing one day, it's like $1,200. But if you were a regular on the show, a regular cast member who's in every single episode, then you're getting a quote that is astronomically higher than that.
On the low end, 20.
Yeah, that's right. On the low end, 20, 25. That's where you're like first job territory. And then on the high end, it's $350,000 an episode or whatever the big
Which is incidentally what... what's his name on Game of Thrones?
Jason?
No.
Oh.
The Lannister. The
Tyrion Lannister.
Which one is the first lead? I don't know what I'm allowed to say. What do you call him?
Like boy, yeah.
Let me guess. I'm gonna guess what, you're not allowed to say little people.
You don't say that anymore?
I think you say little people American.
Get the fuck out of here! Really?
No.
Okay.
He's not even American.
You're right. Wait, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it is a Little People American. Which sounds the name of a Ricky Gervais show. That's Warwick Davis, though.
Yeah.
But I remember I found out he gets $350K an episode, and I remember thinking that's so low.
It is for
Game of Thrones.
For Game of Thrones, like just for reference, like by the final season of
Big Bang.
Yeah, they were all getting $1 million an episode. But look, that's like season whatever 10 or something. But
That's also 23 episodes.
Yes.
And yeah.
fucking crazy. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, to answer your question, yes, if there's some shitty job that I get, or that I'm not even that I get, if I got a job, I would usually do it. But I'll get an audition, and my agents will say to me like, you know, this is low money. Should we just ask for an offer? That's sort of the way I skirt saying no to stuff. Is like, yeah, just offer me the job.
If they're going to give me minimum, then if I don't have to audition, sure.
Yeah.
Because working's so fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But auditioning is not fun, and that's the real job. And for me to,
that's a good saying. It is. That's in a way.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm the best at, I think, is auditioning. I don't get offers I almost never ever in my career.
What makes you so good at auditioning? Obviously, you do 20 jobs a year. What makes you so good at auditioning?
It's probably the same thing that makes you so good at auditioning and good at stand-up. It's that you rehearse something. You rehearse the material that you're given. You make it good and you memorize it. But then you also make it seem new and natural and like that nobody's heard this material before. That's my whole goal with auditioning. I also ad-lib a lot in auditions and do a lot of writing.
How do you feel when... I mean, we're getting so inside, but I love this stuff.
Yeah.
There are jobs, especially for comedy, it's a lot easier to ad-lib because they want to see your voice. But when the writer's in the room, sometimes it's... If they don't tell you to ad-lib, it's a dance.
Yes.
Do you have a technique?
Yeah, I mean, God, I'm so used to tuning everyone else in the room out. And so the writer might be grimacing his ass off or hating me or whatever, but I've just sort of erased him from my peripheral vision. You know what I'm saying? When you audition, you're usually reading with a casting assistant. And most of the time they're very flat and they're not actors. That's not their job. Anyway, a lot of my auditions are just like little one-man shows where I run the whole thing with myself because you just pretend there's no scene partner because they're not giving you anything. Every once in a while, you'll get someone great like Ben Harris who's like knocking it out of the fucking park and makes you great, or they'll hire a reader to come in, like when I did that for Allison for the Veep pilot auditions. But most of the time, you're just talking to someone who's giving you nothing. So I sort of construct everything I want to have happen in my head. It's locked in, regardless of what the person in front of me does. Jesus Christ. That feels a little refreshing. Sorry, what?
Like that, you know what's funny? The only reason I did that is because I set up how that's not the right thing to do in that moment, and it still proved poorly.
I'll be honest with you, Rick. I did lose my train of thought there.
You were talking about tuning them out, other than with Ben.
Right.
You're tuning out the writer because you're.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my trick. I like to add material, add jokes, add lines. Sometimes when I feel like, oh, this would be better if blah blah blah.
If you think it could be better, sure. But do you ever force it to show what you could do?
No. If it's great, I'm not going to touch it.
Then why did you say sometimes?
If it's funny enough as it is, then I won't touch it. But if it's not,
sometimes you'll add.
Yeah, sometimes I'll add.
I thought you meant some. Doesn't matter what I thought.
Okay.
Makes sense.
But when I do it, I always add it in a place that will not throw the reader, because that is an easy way to sort of fuck up the audition. If you're changing a cue line for the person,
it's got to be within the sentence.
Yes, it's always at the end of a scene or within the sentence at a time where it's just not going to fuck up the flow of the audition. And I feel that makes it, you can sort of get away with more that way.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dance. Have you had any experience where they tell you you're prepping it with your ways and they say you got to do it?
Yes. And I always get a little embarrassed and no offense, I'm so sorry. And they're like, yeah, because I never think of it as offensive. And some people are offended when you change their shit.
Yeah. It's weird. Because our job at the moment in an audition isn't to put on screen your vision. It's to show you what we could do.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel like I'm trying to show you how much of a real person I can be, even in a scenario like this. And I wouldn't say this line. Me, Nelson, would not say this line in the way you've written it. And I want to make it more real and grounded.
There's where it is, but they're not hiring you to... I did a couple of Intel commercials with Jim Parsons.
Oh, sick.
We'll be right back after a word from Intel.
Hey, the future. What's her problem?
Apparently I kept her up all night. She said the future freaks her out. How come no one likes me, Jim?
Intel does.
And he's awesome, by the way.
Never met him, yeah.
Awesome. And, you know, one of the most successful sitcom actors of all time. And he was telling me, because we improvised on set, or I was improvising on set. And he liked it and was asking me questions about improv, which is like, you're literally on the most expensive comedy show of all time.
Yeah.
They aren't allowed to improvise commas.
Get the fuck out of here.
No words. Every comma, every period, every pause. It's almost like the script is choreography, not just the blocking. Which
that's a Chuck Lorre show, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, he has a formula that's working.
Yeah.
Our job is to do what the show for TV, what the showrunner wants of us. And if what he wants from us is to show Nelson and show Rick, but if what he wants from us is to dance the way I want you, do this, it's a different skill set.
Yes, it is. And I learned that the hard way when I got on my first multicam sitcom, multicamera meaning live audience show, and it was called The Millers. It was a CBS show starring Will Arnett and Margot Martindale, two fucking national treasures.
Their Instagram.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if Margot has one. And I tested for that show. I auditioned. It was a Greg Garcia show who he did other things like that Chuck show and some other shit like Raising Hope, stuff like that. He's a good guy. So I went through my normal audition process. I auditioned for the casting director, and I ad-libbed in that audition. Then I got sent to producers, including him, and I ad-libbed a bunch in that audition. Then I tested for the show, and I ad-libbed during the test. And then after the first couple of days of working on this show, the script supervisor came to my dressing room.
I've had this experience.
Knocked on my door and was like, "Have a seat, Nelson." And I was like, "Oh, fuck." And she was like, "Greg has been very displeased with the way you've been handling." And I was like,
"Oh, whoa."
And I said, What? And she said, "You're not saying the lines as scripted." And I said, "Oh, really?" And she said, "Last night you did your line. I'm just going to make this up because I can't remember. Your line was, 'Go over to the window and open it, please.' And you said, 'Hey, could you go over to the window and open it, please?' You added 4 words to that line." And I was like, oh my fucking God, I am in the Twilight Zone. Like, I need to rethink everything and memorize this like Shakespeare, even though, fuck you. Then, when the show came out, the first 2 episodes that I had sort of like did my own thing, they kept all my jokes that I had like rewritten or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, some people have a hard time with that. And it was really scary for me, and I was pretty depressed.
Because somebody told you you're bad.
Yeah, and I was like, the whole reason I'm here is because I thought this is what you wanted.
Do you question the script supervisor? Like, do you think that the script supervisor is using Greg's name because you're making her job harder?
Interesting question. I had not thought of that.
I've had experience where the script supervisor came to me doing their job.
Yeah.
Script supervisor, these are the words, you're on or you're off. And I said, "Oh, during rehearsal, we blah, blah, blah." She goes, "Oh, okay." Like, I had to tell her that.
Yeah.
Because there's 400 people on set, and not everybody's communicating with one another.
Of course. So I wonder if Greg.
That's a tough.
I wonder if Greg ever said, "I'm very disappointed in Nelson." Would you go tell him that? I mean, what the fuck?
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't think.
Maybe she picked up on something.
Maybe.
But also, like, tell me.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me on day one.
Yeah. Don't send like a third party to punish me or whatever. I was really sad after that, and but Will sort of really picked me up. He's like fucking the nicest guy. It's so funny. Like, he reminds me of you in his confidence and his outgoing personality or whatever. He's just the sweetest guy, and so are you. So I guess it's like a theme.
What? The confident people are nice?
Yeah, some of them are at least.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's
at least
a ton
not the
of
fucking nerds.
Yeah, exactly.
So your bread and butter is guest starring. I'm sure, I don't want to speak for you, but if that's consistent, then that's a great living.
Yeah, it's great.
Is there a dream? Because, are we allowed to talk about the movie you're about to do?
I think so, yeah. I mean, my deal closed. I never signed an NDA. Yeah, why not?
If for whatever reason, I'm sure there'll be an announcement then, but if for some reason this will be out, when it comes out beforehand. We'll just dub over we'll use the casting directors' names for what movie you're doing. But you're doing the new Lucy movie.
I got in the I got a job in the new Sorkin movie, which is huge, incredible.
With Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball. Is it Lucille Ball?
Yeah, she's Irish. Lucille Ball.
And that's like I am watching West Wing for the first time now.
Fuck yeah, dude! That's one of the all-timers right there.
It's unbelievable, and I still believe that there are a few perfect movies. The Social Network being one of them.
You love The Social Network.
I mean, anybody who doesn't love The Social Network, I feel like you might not like country music, but you have to appreciate they're good at what they do. Like that's a perfect.
No, it's great. I'm a big Sorkin fan. I like guys like that, like Sorkin and Mamet and stuff, who are very. Look, those guys are particular about the writing, but you respect it because it's that good. Not a lot of people on that level.
You know what else I haven't talked about? No, I don't know who gives a shit when I talked about it, but like it's not a talked about show that I loved was Newsroom. Did you watch Newsroom? Remember that?
I didn't watch a single episode. I'm so sorry.
Loved Newsroom.
Yeah. I got close to getting on that show, actually. And
they
then
gave it to Jeff Daniels.
I got close, and I spent time with Sorkin, and I read with him, and I thought I had a good thing going with him.
Oh, cool.
And then I didn't get the job, and this is something I do sometimes because I'm an asshole. I'm like, I'm not going to watch that show. And then I don't watch it because I feel frustrated that I got close and didn't get it. And I don't want to see what the other guy ended up doing.
I've had exes that were on stuff that after we broke up, I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I've either seen it or I haven't because I haven't. But
yeah,
that's the closest I could get to connecting to that. But did your relationship with Sorkin help you get this job?
I don't know, because this is COVID, so this is just the tape I sent in. But I always thought in the back of my mind, you know what, if I ever go out for something for him again, I bet he'll remember that we had a nice thing going.
I didn't think people really booked stuff from tape.
This is my first job I ever booked from tape.
And you've been doing tapes for years, I assume.
Oh yeah, for 13 years, 12 years, something. Yeah.
I don't know one person who's booked a thing from tape.
Because guys like you and me are good in the room, and that's what, like I can schmooze up a room really well, and obviously you can do the same. And that's when I first met you, and I was all anxious and closed off in the waiting rooms because I was saving up all my energy to schmooze the real room.
Smart, by the way.
Now I can do both because I take some pressure off myself, But
did I get in your way?
No. I think a lot of my worries back then was just worried I wasn't going to memorize it correctly. And so I'm always kind of like, that was sort of paralyzing to me. And that's why I couldn't like talk about other things and just have a normal conversation because I'm focusing on the words. But I don't know if you've found this to be the case, but I've gotten better at memorizing over the years, and now it's like it's less of a concern.
Yeah, preparation is auditioning is the job.
Yeah.
We can make whatever whatever phrase or saying, but preparation is the job.
Yeah.
Learn your lines.
Yeah.
And understand. Just you don't have to take a script analysis class. Just know what's happening.
Exactly, dude.
And then just be present. And I mean, it's such a corny thing, but like just learn your lines. And then there's I've gotten to the point now to where I get nervous all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I get nervous before auditions.
Yeah.
I get nervous before going up on stage. But
I think that's great, by the way.
I do too, because it gives you like that adrenaline rush.
Exactly right.
But if you're nervous because you want to shine and do well, then you're great. If you're nervous because you're unprepared, it's spiral city.
Nightmare, yeah.
And when you're prepared, and this isn't always the case maybe, but we're humans. You go into a room, you're going to do the best you could possibly do. And anything you do that's not good enough, you couldn't have done better.
Right.
So there's a little bit of like acceptance and confidence I have in the fact that, listen, I'm prepared. So I don't know how booking stuff other than you is almost impossible. So just do your thing.
It is hard to book stuff.
But that energy I had in Undateable, I had done a few commercials up to that point. I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
I had my first pilot season, and I tested for 2 things, Undateable and something else.
Nice work.
And thank you. I also felt that way. I felt like, this is easy.
Yeah.
I am so happy. I know this guy from the Traffic Light Show, and I'm playing basketball with comedians that like I was fans of beforehand. I'm in the swing of things. Like, you want to be my friend? That was that energy.
And if you came at me like that today, I would say yes. And I think I wasn't in the right place. Maybe that's why we never became friends. I don't know
if it was the right place. It was just what you needed at the time.
Yeah.
But also, shout out to Bill Lawrence, by the way. I don't know if you remember that audition, but I do very well because it was, it was my first time doing this.
Mm-hmm.
He talks to you for a few minutes beforehand saying, if you're not happy with the take, we'll just keep going.
Yeah. So crucial.
Do you remember that?
I don't, but it seems like something. I just remember him being very, very friendly and warm or whatever. And so that's great.
Allison Jones does that. I feel like I'm never auditioning for Allison Jones. I feel like we're auditioning for the producers.
Yes, exactly.
You feel that way?
She's on your side. She's trying to help you get this job, and it's not the other way around. She's not the gatekeeper.
I've done takes where I wasn't sure, and she said, "We got it," and I go, "Great."
Yeah.
And we've had takes where we like do it again. Like she doesn't just do this. Or for Futile, I did at least 2. I'm not sure if it was 3. I think it was 3. I auditioned. She wanted me to change my voice, and I'm not good at voices, so I got 2 different dialect coaches.
Wow.
And I did it for about a week with different things. I came back in. Yeah, I auditioned twice. And then they wanted me to. She's like, "Great. We just want to make sure about the voice." David Wayne, who I've told this story not in a while, but before Futile and Stupid Gesture, when I moved here, I had David Wayne and Edgar Wright on my bulletin board, the only 2 directors I had that I want to work with. And now I'm FaceTiming with David Wayne, and his name is right there, and we're doing voices. And point being, there's no nerves. There's no nerves with Allison.
Yeah.
And Ben. It's just they're gonna get it with me, or she'll have me come back.
Yeah.
But what was the point we were talking about? Sorkin, book, auditioning on tape.
Let me tell you about that. Well, along the lines of Allison Jones helping you out, let me tell you the first time I ever auditioned for Allison Jones. I graduated from college. I lived in New York for 4 years. I went to NYU. I gained a lot of weight. Okay, I'm 6'5". When I went to college, I was 175. When I graduated, 250. Okay, so I'm fresh out of school, and I
from what drinking?
It was drinking, but it was also like just the amount of food that's 24 hours in that city. You cannot walk down the street without finding 10 things you want to eat. I was eating like 6 meals a day when I lived in New York. I come out of class, there's a hot dog guy. Yeah, let's go. Give me a kraut, whatever. It was amazing. And I shouldn't say that. That's like a
what's wrong?
Not a racial slur for
sauerkraut. Kraut? Is it?
Kraut's like for German. Yeah, whatever.
Just say kraut American.
Yeah.
I think of it short for sauerkraut.
Yeah, sour. That's what I meant. But I think you can call a German a kraut, and that's like a racial slur or something like that. So forget it. Forget I said that. Bleep it all out, or don't. Whatever. But
bleep when he said the word German, but keep when I said it so we know what he said.
Yeah, good. Where was I going with this? Okay, so I see Allison. I auditioned for her. This is like she was my first audition as a professional.
How'd you get an audition with her? It's very hard. It's like getting into a club to get to audition for Allison Jones.
Yeah.
How'd you get that?
So I guess this is a bit of a longer story. You don't mind me saying this is sort of how I got started.
Do you mind if I go pee?
Yeah, please. Go for it, bud. Ooh. Does it feel good though?
Yeah, but I gotta really go pee.
Do I look like an asshole drinking out of the Hollywood mug?
I always give my guests either I have merch, a Goblin mug, or the Hollywood one.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I got to give a plug to Blue Bottle Coffee. I would love to get them as a sponsor, but I don't even know if they do that kind of thing. I am in the best mood right now. This is also great. Don't want to take away from the coffee or from you, but the combination of Nelson and some Blue Bottle. Oh my gosh!
Let me tell you, I am loving this coffee. Also,
isn't it amazing?
It's really good.
It's called a New Orleans American,
okay.
And it's coffee with I forget some type of bitter, some sweetener something.
Yeah, it's sweet.
It's so good.
Oh, it's so good.
And I have been so insecure this past couple months, and podcasting just draws it out of me.
Oh.
And it's so nice to be doing a podcast where we're like. You know what I think made me feel safe? Your understanding of I'm allowed to swing and miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not as obvious to people.
I get it. I mean, it's the goal of any artist is just be yourself and do your own thing and forget everything else, and I'm happy you're doing that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But also I've had some like we don't know each other very well.
I feel like I know you better because I've watched a bunch of your podcasts, and so
I love you said that to me. I think I am bragging right now, but I said I'm excited to have you over, and you said that you were a fan of the podcast, and I believed you because you've commented on a few podcasts before.
Yeah,
it's so flattering when a peer watches something you do.
I agree.
But I've had some people on where I make some swings, and there are also people who are like, "Why are you coming over? Why are you doing my podcast?" And then it's like I want them to want to come back, and meanwhile, sweating while I'm having them get shit and cummed on.
Yeah.
It's like, oh. The podcast.
But dude, we live in an era of podcasts, and I'm just bored with the whole thing. Might as well spice it up. I don't care about, I want to see people get shit on.
Yeah, I started doing it. People would like give me shit. You said it already too. Like, there's something about farting that if you like farting, if you think it's funny, you're a good person. I came up with this hypothesis earlier. People who like farts, it's not enough. You could be a good person without liking farts.
Yeah.
But if you take a sample, the percentage would be higher because people who think farting is funny, there's a childish part of them that they have that just, they like play, and they like play.
I strongly agree that it's a connection to the childhood or whatever. That's good. You're free. Ooh, how fucking snooty do you have to be like, farting is not funny?
I think the outlier is if you really do have a visceral reaction, like if it grosses you out, like I think that's ridiculous, but spiders gross me out and other people think that's ridiculous. If you're chemically affected by it, then fine. It's the people that that's hacky.
Yeah, that sucks.
A friend of mine once said, shout out to Andy Kozel, buttholes have the best comedic timing. Which is so funny. It's never not funny.
Yeah. Let me tell you, sorry to cut you off.
Go.
I have 2 different farting apps on my phone, and I like to surprise my wife while we're in bed and stuff by triggering loud fart sounds. And
does it come from your phone?
Comes from my phone, but I like hold it under the covers and stuff.
Can we get an example?
Oh, yeah, I got to turn my phone on. Sorry.
I had an idea for a book I wanted to do, and I'm forgetting the term. It was what's it called when people are like trying to destigmatize something? Normalizing. I wanted to do a book called Normalizing Farts.
Yeah.
And explain like how like okay, like coughing. Now coughing is horrible, but like it's just a sneeze from the butt.
It's coming out for a reason. It's the air needs to leave your body.
It's supposed to be out.
And holding it in is physically detrimental to your body. Anyway.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Let me get it up.
So I, before you play it, I do fart bits on here every now and then.
Okay.
And people will be like, not funny. So then I did, I have this thing, which I'm still doing, but I got it out of me already. But go to rickglassman.com, in the top I have a thing where it's submit a fart. And I have people submitting, and all I ask is people aren't listening, make it widescreen, you idiots. And I'm like now cutting to people farting, just as like a fuck you.
You had a really good one in the Blake episode where this dude was like 11 out of 10 high in his bed. His eyes are barely open, and he farts, and he's like, "That was for you, Rick."
that one, I wasn't sure if I was going to put any more in because I already got it in, but I saw that it made me laugh out loud when I watched it. I'm like, I'll put some more farts in.
See, that's a classic right there. That's
35,
Yeah. Well, here's another. This one's a little over the top, but I still like it. Oh, wait, that wasn't the one I thought it was.
Yeah, it was very simple.
They're just numbered. I've memorized most of them.
All right, let's get back into it.
Yeah.
You auditioned for Sorkin.
Yeah.
When do you film?
End of March, like the 28th or something.
Where, here?
Yeah, in LA. Yeah, really lucky.
Do you feel when you go on a lot, because you've been on them for so long and so many of them, do you feel like, is there still a feeling of...
Oh, of course. It's like you're in a special club or something. It's amazing.
Do you also feel like you belong?
Yeah. Well, sometimes. Sometimes. That's the answer. Like, I won't feel like I belong when I go to this set of this Sorkin movie. I'll feel like I'm shitting bricks the whole time. But if I'm going to Fox to shoot New Girl, I'm like, yeah, this is where I belong. Because I've done 20 whatever episodes at this point. It's like, yeah, I feel like I belong here.
I almost always feel like I belong.
Yeah, that's good. That's what you need.
Uh-huh.
You need to, in order to excel, you need to feel comfortable.
I had that pause was me censoring making a Microsoft Office joke. But I was on Undateable, and I had just gotten through Allison Jones this show with the Larry Charles Show. And I'm about to be with Billy Crystal.
The comedians.
Yeah. And I'm about to work with Billy Crystal, and I'm new. I've done Undateable. I've never done a guest star before. I've only done one show, and I was the lead of it. One of the regulars who didn't even talk much, so it's like a completely different dynamic. And I was going on the tour on the road with Ron Funches to do stand-up. A guy who I've known for a bit, a guy who I'm friends with, to do a craft that I've been doing for almost a decade.
Yeah.
And I was terrified. I remember talking to my dad on the phone before the first show. It was in Atlanta. I was so scared because I get so scared to do stand-up. And my dad said, "How do you feel about doing the show, the comedian show?" And it's like, that's what I was meant to do. Like,
Wow.
I had no experience working with a legend. I had done this other thing, which, by the way, I'm featuring at a who gives a fuck.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, and I wouldn't want it. I like this. I'd rather it be this way because I could be nervous on stage and talk about it. If I'm nervous on set, it's a different thing.
Interesting.
For whatever reason, it's an accident. I'm so grateful, but I always feel like I got this, and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a certain amount of, and I'm not saying this is the reason why, but there's a certain amount of projection where it's like, if you act like you belong there, people will treat you like you do belong there. You know what I mean?
It's not a decision.
Uh-huh.
It's like when I walk on a lot. This is a kind of a hyperbolic statement, but it would be more towards this side. This is not real. But this is like the emotional. When I'm walking on a lot, nobody knows who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Even less before when I was working on. I haven't walked on a lot in a while. And Pete and like the tour buses go by.
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, these people have no idea.
Yeah. Oh, I always think that too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, here's what I do. It reminds me of high school. Like, I was doing, the last time I worked at Universal, I was doing the show called Abby's, which actually got picked up for a season with Natalie Morales and some other wonderful people. And the tour buses would go by, and I would stand there, like, I would be outside for whatever reason, and I would think, yeah, I'm going to stand here and let them see me. Because, like, even if they don't recognize me, I'm still like a guy who works here. And that is sick as hell. You know, like, this, like, you wish you worked on this fucking line. You're taking a tour. You know,
Where's the line of narcissism to self-confidence?
God, it's so thin, especially in this profession. You got to be pretty vain to be an actor, you know, especially one like me who watches myself constantly. Like,
but I think of, you know, I know other basketball players do this, but I've heard so many interviews of Kobe talking about how much tape he watches.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned so much as a host and as an interviewer because I'm editing these podcasts.
Yeah, and you're seeing yourself.
And and there's so many things where I'm grossed out and there's nothing that's going to change and it's hard to do it. And that's the reason I got help first was less about how much time it took and more I can't watch this anymore. But also I see stuff and you know, seeing the stuff you like, you could try and do more of, but it's seeing the stuff you don't like that lets you offer, why don't I like this? That offers not just insight into the craft, but also into me. Pete Holmes talked about how he interrupts people all the time and how much shit he gets in the comments.
In his podcast? I've listened to a bunch of
his podcast.
Yeah.
And we talked about that on mine because I do the same thing too. And we both kind of said a similar thing, but it's validated to me because Pete Holmes said it.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Holmes being somebody who's been doing this a lot longer than me. It's what it is, man. You know?
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
Yeah. It's this whole like sort of philosophy. When I say that, you know, sometimes when I audition, I change the words so that it sounds more like me talking instead of like the character. And that might sound like that seems you're trying to get a job playing this other person, not yourself or whatever. There's this one acting teacher I had in college where, look, I had a great experience in acting school. I am not the kind of person who's going to say you need to go to acting school to be good. Mm-hmm. You can be good without it. For me, it really brought me out of my shell in a great way. And it's like an unbelievable amount of practice. For 4 years, you go up in front of people and you fuck up a ton. You also do well a handful of times. And it's just, you know, the 10,000 hours, you're getting up in front of people and fucking up and doing your thing. And by the time I got out of there, I had very little dignity left because I had done so many weird things and like showed my dick in various scenes and had to like...
Really?
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. You know, we were doing like experimental theater and all this stuff. So by the time I got out of there, I was like, nothing's going to faze me anymore. But look, that's not the point. The point I was making is I had this one teacher who really resonated with me. Stella Adler had one improv class that it was like sort of a throwaway class. Nobody cared about it, but they felt it was important to the philosophy of Stella Adler, which is imagination. Instead of using the method or something, you imagine this is really happening to you, and that's how you get a truthful reaction. So they had an improv class. Everyone took one improv class in 4 years, and they didn't really care. But he ended up directing me in a show. And he said... In a play, yeah, sorry, I'm talking about his name is Noel Wilson. And I was doing this play. It was a drama. There were some funny parts of it, but it was mostly a drama. And one of the other guys in the play was really took himself seriously and was like very dramatic all the time, and he was like really, acting too much and trying too hard. And he was doing a scene where he had to cry, and he was like going way over the top, and Noel stopped the scene right in the middle, and he said to, I'm not going to say his name because like I love the guy, I'm not going to throw him under the bus here, but Noel goes, listen, pal, we like you, okay? We are all your friend already, and we all love you. You don't have to impress us, okay? Just drop this attitude. And he like immediately started crying in real life, And he said that he was trying so hard to impress everybody, right. And Noel was like, just drop it. And here's what he said. He goes, listen, pal. I'm just calling him pal because I don't want to say his name. But the most...
Is he working now, this guy?
No. He actually works at the acting school as a voice teacher now. That's too much of a clue. He said, look, the most interesting person you know is yourself, okay? We're in the middle of acting school. You've been doing Shakespeare for 2 years. You're learning how to end all your lines up and make eye contact on every word and do all the... That's not what a real person does. I want to see what you would do in this situation. Do the scene again. And it was like a million times. And I've never forgotten that. You're the most interesting person you know. So I always comment things like, it's not going to get more truthful than if I was doing it.
Yeah, the way I've articulated that is, any great actor who does characters does great character work. Mm-hmm. You know yourself, like that character.
Yeah.
Like Larry playing an exaggerated version of Larry. Which by the way, real quick, the point of that I was saying before is, Larry says that Larry on Curb is who he wants to be. He wants to be able to say, because he thinks those things, but he doesn't act on those. So I just think that's interesting. Mm. But yeah, so you're saying that you're the most interesting you could be with the skill set and the things that you've learned is to find some version of you in every character.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Sure.
Right?
I think so. I mean, I might be taking it a little far by sort of changing the line into a line that I would say. But
yeah, I get caught up in that. Sometimes it's like, I'm not going to be able to be present if I say over there instead of that way. Or it's just such a weird... I think that's just a,
Yeah, maybe it's a crutch, but it helps me to be more relaxed or whatever. But oh, boy. See, would you animate somebody shitting in your mouth when you did something like that, or is that something for the guests?
I already put... I had it be lipstick when I put the chapstick on.
Yeah.
So that was me just pulling off the sheet of red lipstick.
That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
Sheets of lipstick? Yeah.
I think so. Or I guess play. I don't know why I keep saying show.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Good. I feel good. Yeah. Am I interesting enough here? Is this okay?
Is there something I could say that makes you feel less or more interesting?
If you said no, I would feel less interesting.
And if I said yes?
Then I would feel content.
Oh, it would have helped. Would you have felt content had that question never been asked?
Yeah. I think I felt nervous when you said, how you doing? And I was like, oh.
Well,
there's a lull.
Great, by the way. But just so you could be content. But best case scenario, you would feel what you already were feeling.
Yeah.
Feels like a risky ask.
Why?
Because if you don't ask, you're here.
Uh-huh.
If you do ask, best case scenario, you're here.
Mm.
I learned in a restaurant, never ask how is everything. Say, is everything good?
Oh, because then they have to say...
It's a further leap for it not being good.
Yeah.
You could just say yes, and it's a positive, as opposed to them choosing between yes or no.
Interesting. Wow,
there's a saying in sales called shorten the showroom, where if they have 20 options, it becomes about picking which one and then deciding to get it. If it's few options, it's just deciding to get it. It's less steps. That's what we do. You want to do in marketing too. Like when you're posting a clip of something, go to rickglassman.com, click on submit a fart. It's too many steps. If you could just swipe up and then fart, and that's the goal. But we don't have that kind of money for programming yet.
Really, you can't do a swipe up?
Not to email.
Oh, okay.
I could do a swipe up to a click.
I see.
I think I'm done with the submit of farts. I have so many backlogs.
Do you have a lot?
My girlfriend organizes all the farts by names and times, and
so she doesn't mind listening to the farts all the time.
She loves working. It's weird.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Weird, unusual to me.
Uh-huh.
Like to me, I have nothing to do today. I'm getting 9 episodes of West Wing in, baby. But Betty, it's like I need to find something to do.
I hear you. I'm like you, but I turned to like video games. I gotta cut that out.
Do you Twitch?
No, I really should though. For the amount of time, like, not that I think I could get an audience, but it's like I'm doing it anyway. Might as well try and get something.
People make so much money on it.
I know, but like now people like Hubel and Sheer and stuff, they're doing Twitch just as like to do a show, not even to play a video game. You know,
and I still might do it. I actually am just now buying the switcher for it, but I wanted to do with my buddy John and anybody else who could be in my bubble. We could have guests out on the balcony to do live improv.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And to like get suggestions from the people, and and I just wanted to get very stoned.
Yeah.
And improv is hard. Like, to be good, even if you are good, like, you have to have a team that you know how to play with. So I want to just have, like, stakes-free improv. It's just going to be bad, but we're funny guys, you know?
Yeah, it'll be funny. By the way, I just remembered this, and I don't want to forget it again. You remember I was talking about
We'll
Paul?
be right back.
Oh, you son
after
of
a
bitch.
word from our
It's that
sponsors.
fucking carpet.
Carpet, hardwood, rugs, and luxury vinyl.
Do you remember?
Yeah. I'm not happy about it, but I remember.
So make the right choice and visit Marshall Carpet One and Rug Gallery. And we promise, with more than 50 years as a family-owned business, we've got you covered.
Okay, what is it?
It's gone now. It's 100% gone.
Oh, sorry, let me rewind.
Before I forget, you know, I mentioned Paul Downs. I'm a big fan of his. No, go. He did an episode of Larry King's show, rest in peace, where it's on his Instagram, but it's very pleasing to me. But he talks to Larry about how he records his own farts on Larry King.
Mm-hmm.
And Larry's like, excuse me? He goes, yeah, I record my own farts all the time, constantly. And Larry King, by the way, calls it flatulence. Doesn't even call it flatulence. Says flatulence. And why do you...
If it's a little pitchier, would he call it a sharpulence?
I imagine he would.
Sorry.
It's okay. I chuckled. And Paul was explaining that he's not satisfied with the, like, sound archives for farts that exist. None of them sound real.
Yes.
So that's
why I had people submitting.
Yeah. And then they get into a discussion about why are farts funny, and he just breaks it down.
Ooh, you have to send me that. For one, I'm interested, and two, I want to make sure that I'm not trampling on something that has been established.
Oh, maybe. No.
Because I do think about that.
Yeah, well, it's true, and I think it's hilarious. I mean, a real fart is way funnier than, like, if you go to, like, soundeffects.com. That's all bullshit, you know. But
sometimes,
oh.
if we're talking in there, like that fart that we put in, that's funny because it sounds real. But if I all of a sudden go like this, oh, and by the way,
yeah,
then you want to hear like a, what you heard.
Do you remember that scene in Dumb and Dumber where?
Of course.
It's the motherfucking best. I can't believe.
That's Newsroom, by the way.
Yes.
I've thought about that. Looking at him in Newsroom to that, it's
because he's like a very well-regarded actor. He's like a Broadway guy.
Yeah. I didn't know he was Broadway, but I know he's a very trained Jeff Daniels.
Yeah. And it's like amazing that he did that. Mm-hmm. I give him a lot of credit for doing that.
Wasn't Dumb and Dumber? It was originally, or was it him? No, it was somebody else. And then when Jim Carrey came on, they felt like they needed a bigger name, and that person lost who it was. Do you know who it was?
I don't know, but
we'll put up a picture when we find out.
Yeah. No, when I was a kid, I loved Jim Carrey. I loved Adam Sandler CDs. I bought all of his, his comedy albums and stuff. And my dad, who's like a very smart guy and a very, he's a screenwriter for 35 years. He hates both of those guys. Thinks they're fucking clowns and they're not funny. And it just made me love them even more. I was like rebelling or whatever. I love that shit.
Is there something about? We never really got to it about. Oh, I guess we did. About your dad being in the business. He didn't push you for or against. You just found it.
Yeah. And, when I graduated from high school, he was like, look, do you want me to set you up with an agent? You graduated. And I was like, no, I'm going to go to college. What are you talking about? Like, I wasn't in any hurry, and he wasn't trying to push me into it either,
Did he help you get an agent when you got one?
So here's what happened. While I was in I would go to NYU for the school year, and weirdly, they don't have any small breaks at NYU in the curriculum. There's no, like, October week off. There's no 3-day weekends. There's nothing. Who has
an October week off?
A ton of colleges get a week off in October. I don't fucking know why. People go skiing or whatever. I don't know. It's crazy. Or is it November? No, that's Thanksgiving. We had 4 months off for summer at NYU. It's just how it went. We got out like early May and we went back in mid-September or whatever. It was crazy. So I always got a summer job. And one of the jobs I worked at was for I was an intern at Red Hour Productions, and that is a job my dad helped me get. I mean, it wasn't a job, I wasn't getting paid, but Red Hour's Ben Stiller's production company. They made the
I thought it was Red Hat or Green. No, that's Todd Phillips.
Oh yeah,
Red Hour, and that's still his
Yeah,
thing. So did you work with him?
I worked with Stuart. Yeah, I worked with everyone. I was an unpaid intern. I was doing coverage there, which is when you production offices like that, they get script submissions constantly. People sending in their scripts. They want their script to get made. They're submitting or whatever.
And you're looking to see what's good.
Yeah, there's no way to get through all of it. So they hire unpaid interns to just sort of run through all these scripts all day and say, like, maybe you should check this one out, maybe not.
Did you remember you finding anything that ended up getting made?
I remember...
Along Came Polly.
No. The only one I remember is the one that I said that I gave a very bad score to and said, don't make this movie. And then they made that movie.
What was it?
It was called The Ruins. It was a horror movie about vines that come to life and kill people, like plants. And it was like a 400-page script. And I was like, just kill me right now. And they made that movie.
Okay.
No offense to whoever. I mean, whatever.
Not taken.
Anyway, the point of this story is I was working there doing coverage unpaid. And then Stuart, the guy who my dad was friends with, and rest in peace, Stuart passed away just last year, which is... It's bad. I really loved him. And from cancer, not from COVID. But
you really kept leaning into the, now it's to the point where I got to, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Just give me a moment to cry, okay? No, all right.
We already like you.
Yeah, thank you.
But also, sorry about I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. I mean, he was like my mentor or whatever. But so what happened was his assistant quit. You son of a bitch, that was too far that time. His assistant quit 8 days before they started shooting the Tenacious D movie. And so he was like, Nelson, you want to be my assistant? My guy just quit. And I was like, really? And he's like, you'll get $700 a week. And I was like, fuck it. It's like the most money I'd ever made. And
Jack Black, the way you just did that.
Yeah, true. And he's the one where when I graduated from college, he set me up with a manager meeting. And he got me started in the industry.
Full circle, we opened with it, and let's close with it. We didn't even talk about Futile.
Shit, you're right. That's right.
Allison Jones got us those jobs. Also, I want to we'll talk about Allison, because you said you got to go into Larry without pre-tape or anything. The auditions Allison has gotten me, I auditioned for Veep once. It was with Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
What?
Made her laugh. I need everyone to know that. Because when you make somebody laugh, and you know when it's a real laugh.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I would have preferred to have get it, but I wasn't right for the part. Or a girl ended up getting it. Whatever it was, it doesn't matter. If you could make... That's how I felt about Curb.
Yeah.
But the audition with Larry, the audition with Julia were some of the coolest moments I've had, and I didn't get those jobs.
Yeah.
She brought me in for the Amy Schumer movie. I forgot what it was called. But,
Trainwreck.
With Judd Apatow.
Fuck.
And there was... What else was there? Oh, no. The other... She got me Futile and Comedian, some other stuff. But the point I'm making is she has, once she likes you...
Yeah.
You get to go right there.
She has so much faith, In fact, and I read with Stephen Merchant for Hello Ladies.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get it, but then I got it in the movie. No.
Were you in the movie?
I was in the movie.
I don't remember. I've seen both.
I was in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Christine Woods is so great in that, and she's on an audition for a yogurt commercial, and I'm the director giving her all these horrible notes and telling her to fucking roll around on the ground like a cockroach and shit.
Oh,
but
Steve Merchant is...
That was my favorite auditioning experience of my entire life, was just doing improv with Stephen Merchant. It was the greatest.
He's on the short list of who I would love to get on this podcast at some point.
Oh yeah. And by the way, when I first read for Allison, I think I was starting to tell that story when I was 250 pounds. I had first graduated from college, and I got my first manager. He was like, "What's your game plan, really?" And I said, "Look, you got to get me in on the Seth Rogen track." Because I'm a pudgy Jewish guy, and he's a movie star.
PJG.
Yeah. And he goes, okay, well, I'll send you to Allison. So I went in to audition for Allison.
So your first meeting with Allison wasn't a general. It was an audition.
It was an audition.
And she just was in.
I auditioned for the TJ Miller role in She's Out of Your League. And I finished my audition, and she said, how come I've never seen you before? And I said, this is my first audition ever. And she was like, wow, okay, look. You're not going to get this job. Will you come back tomorrow? I have some other things I want you to read. Can you fucking imagine somebody who was like, you know what? You know what else you'd be good for? So I came back the next day. She read me for The Office. Got it. She read me for I Love You Man. Got it. In the same fucking
Who were you
day.
in I Love You Man?
I played one of Jason.
Yes, on the hike.
Yeah, I was on the hike. I mean, I shot for like 8 days, and they cut everything.
One
out.
of my favorite movies.
Is it really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was my first paid job.
Wow.
Was doing and I was in the scenes with Paul Rudd and shit. It was wild. And then after I did that movie,
You can't do that, by the way.
oh shit, it's a white power thing, isn't it? Anyway, that's not what it meant, people.
It's okay. We'll animate it into a middle finger.
Yeah. Anyway, I did that movie, and I had a scene with Paul Rudd, and then he gave me a job on.
Paul Rudd gave you a job?
Paul Rudd gave me a job.
What does that mean? He calls you?
He was a producer on that show. Oh my god, that show is so funny with it was with Martin Starr and like Ryan Hansen and those guys. It was the caterers.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I got on that because who knew Paul Rudd produced that fucking show?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that
remember
either.
If you did.
My manager called me. He was like, "Hey, you got a job?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
So he's like, I liked from the hiking scene that you did. Oh,
Yeah.
you also there was a sub scene. You probably did more scenes that got cut.
I was on that movie for like 8 or 9 days, and all of it got cut essentially,
Bummer.
except for one montage. I don't even think I had a line at the end of the day, but or maybe one line. But
Do you like that movie?
love it?
That
It's
is one of my
great.
favorite movies.
It's so funny. It's underrated, you know.
I don't know because I mean, John and I, my friend John, we were back in our sketch writing days. I remember we wrote a sketch about us pitching I Love You Man 2, but we had to rewrite it in a way where we're not taking their roles, so you know we have to be we're Jason Segel and Paul Rudd basically. They have to acknowledge it, and it was I Love You Man 2. I just remember that. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's the thing we laugh.
It's like, look who's talking to.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, that's so funny. But anyway, the point of that whole story was that Allison, on her own fucking volition, brought me back to read for other stuff, and that you will never. It's never happened since, and it's probably never going to happen again. I just couldn't believe it. What a beautiful gesture that was.
So futile.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your experience with that real quick to kind of tie this together?
I'll be honest, I don't think David liked me on that. I sort of didn't know what the world I was living in, and I felt he sort of is a little bit readable, I think, David Wayne.
He's readable.
And I don't mean that in a negative way. I love David Wayne, and let me tell you,
I mean readable as in you know what he's thinking?
Like, I could see it on his face that he was displeased with what I was doing.
You finish what you were saying before.
I ended up doing a pilot with him this year, in 2020, in February, right before the lockdown. So I've made my peace with him, and now we're friendly, and I love him. And I always loved him, but I always thought he was secretly pissed off at me for like fucking up some scenes in his movie.
You have no idea what David Wayne's thinking. You couldn't be more far off.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, he's not thinking about you, first of all.
Okay.
And he's probably not in the best mood.
Right.
I mean, I don't know him that well. I think he hates me, but no. David is a.
You had him on the show, right?
No, I think I'm friends with David.
I think you are too.
But I was making a joke if he hates me,
sure.
of me saying he doesn't hate you, he hates me.
Yeah, right.
But David is in a way that makes me feel validated.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of similarities between us.
Yes.
And that thing where I am misunderstood, I know he is. And we talked about it briefly. But there was a moment because I want to direct, and I show up and I shadow wherever I can. I stay days I'm not there. And anything I've worked on or my friends are on, I like to shadow. So he's on my bulletin board, one of two people. The number one, by the way.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright is 2. Edgar, maybe I'll send you this. I'd love for you to do the pod. But I would say I was on set with him a lot, and he taught me how to do the Rubik's Cube. We bonded a little bit. And him and his assistant Sarah, I don't know if you remember. I don't think they still work together. She knows him better than any of us because she's with him all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at Video Village, and it was just the three of us, David and the two of us,
Mm-hmm.
and it was some pickup stuff. It was low stakes, and out of nowhere, David hasn't spoken. We're not all talking. I'm just watching, and out of nowhere, David says, "Will you just get me a fucking Gatorade?" It was so out of nowhere. He wasn't angry before.
Yeah.
And I saw her, I saw her not know, and maybe I'm wrong. I think I talked to her about it. I don't remember. But she wasn't sure. Also, there's other dynamics. It was, if I'm spoken to in front of somebody else, I need to stand. There's a lot of things that, what?
Was he being
No,
Serious?
he was joking.
Of course he was. Yeah, okay.
But she wasn't either sure or didn't know if I was sure. But what I felt in the moment was, and I only say she wasn't, she's not here to speak, but I'm pretty confident she was kind of thrown off by it. And to me, it was, what a funny way to ask for a Gatorade. But seeing that, I don't think David knew that she was upset because she's not going to tell him. Yeah. Also, it might not have been that big of a deal. That happens. I'm seeing David have no idea. Mm-hmm. Now, people that know him, some people are okay with it. But when they're not okay with it, it looks like David's an asshole.
Right. I never thought he was an asshole. I just thought he was mad at me.
The point I'm making is where I connect with that is he isn't giving you the face that you need because he isn't even aware it exists.
Ah, yes.
So there are people that go, ah, yes, and smile and nod their head to show like we're on the same page.
Right.
There are also people who say it and feel the same way but go like this.
Yeah, and then I'm reading that as like, oh, sorry. Yeah.
Coincidentally, before that, on Undateable, I remember I was very new. Like, it was episode 3, season 1. I had never done anything before. At the time, I didn't realize the cliche of some people are assholes was real. Like, of course, people are assholes everywhere. But, like, that diva thing, it still feels cliche because I've never experienced it. I've heard stories. I've never seen somebody be that thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I go, I'm drinking whatever I'm drinking, a coffee, whatever it was, I got it myself. And I said, what the fuck is this? Somebody give me a Diet fucking Coke. Joking, we're having fun. It wasn't a laugh, but just, it was a throwaway thing. And like 2 minutes later, somebody came with a Diet Coke. I got so hot, and I apologized to everyone who was there, but who knows who was there 2 minutes earlier.
Oh, God.
You got to be careful, I guess, but also, like, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Look, I would take that as a funny joke, but I've also literally had that happen to me. I used to work as an assistant. I said I worked at Red Hour as an intern, and I was an assistant to Stewart, but I did other assistant jobs. Every summer I did a different assistant job, and I was that guy. I had to carry around, there's a certain person I worked for who was I had to carry around Diet Cokes, and also I had to carry around a cup of ice because he wanted Diet Coke with ice at all times. But we'd be on location, so I had to hold that stuff on me, and every 15 minutes go get a new cup of ice for when he asked for it and shit. So I'm sure that there are some people who have shell shock from that bullshit.
I do. I've never made that joke again.
Yeah.
But David did it in small company.
Yeah.
And
anyway, but I got to work with him again. And I did this pilot with him last year.
Did he write it, or I guess direct it?
He and 80 Miles wrote it together, and it is a soap opera. I'm going to send you the Vimeo link. I don't think he would mind, or you can ask him for it. You're friends. And we shot 4 episodes in 5 days. And it was
sold?
No,
because you still did 4 episodes.
Because the pilot was 4 episodes. Because it was going to be a actual soap opera.
Oh, so like the PED cameras, it's so you're set up for a week.
Yes, and it had the show gotten picked up, we would shoot 1 episode a day for every 5 days a week, just like a real soap opera, except it was like David Wayne's zany out there comedy.
Oh, I would love to see it.
It was the greatest experience in a long time. The greatest thing I can remember in a long time. Jane Lynch was my mom. The whole thing was unbelievable. Wow. And I connected with David again, and I felt validated, even though maybe he never hated me to begin with. I always thought he did. Yeah.
I know the feeling. I doubt it.
Yeah.
But also he's up on a bit of a pedestal for me.
Me too. Wet Hot American Summer is like a perfect movie.
That and The Social Network. I've said it a million times.
Yeah, that's right. Hand in hand. Yeah. Did you have fun on that movie?
I mean,
you look like you're on a fucking blast. And
yeah.
God, must have been. I mean, we only shot together one time in the funeral, I guess, right?
That was the first. No, we also did the first day of set was the Lemmings, whatever it was, on stage. We were at some after party something.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
And it was just the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, that cast, and it was David Wayne, and that feeling we were talking about of being on a lot, and the feeling of I want to be here. I'm so grateful to be here, and this weird thing of I belong here, and just and it wasn't a lot of money by any means, but working's working.
Yeah,
it was just there wasn't a feeling of it's a big break, but there was a feeling of I'm an actor now.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
It was my first movie I had done. I've done 2, so that was the first. And yeah, but we met, and I don't remember if I know I didn't remember, but then I don't remember if I remembered Undateable. I remember seeing you and knowing you from this Traffic Light. I'm sorry, what was it called?
Traffic Light, yeah.
Traffic Light show.
Yeah. Traffic Light on Netflix.
Is it?
It used to be. Maybe it's not anymore.
You want to do a promo?
Netflix, the best show from 2006. I mean, 8.
There were a few people. There was Maddie Lucas, you. I think it was the three of us.
Oh, I love Matt Lucas so much.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
But you were like my first friends on set, and we were in holding together. We were all in. I wasn't, but most people were in these big wigs and like these costumes, and it was just it was all of our first days, and it was
awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
I had grown out these mutton chops because they asked me to, and I showed up on the first day at the hair and makeup, and they're like, "Oh, you did it?" And I was like, "Yeah, you guys asked me to do it." And she's like, "Well, we had already prepared fake ones. Nobody did it. You're the only one who did it."
Did they keep your real ones?
Yeah.
How many days did you work on that show, the movie?
Not a lot. Maybe a week or so. And my wife hated them. She shaved them off herself when I was done, actually.
But you only had to keep it. Oh, I guess you grew it in the week.
Yeah.
I got to. I was in a lot of like background stuff.
Yeah.
Like I had a few scenes, but I was in stuff like I either wasn't in or very small amount, but a lot of days. So I got to be on set a lot of days. So I got to shadow a lot of days, and the whole thing was just still one of the coolest experiences.
It was great.
Allison Jones, man, she just, I don't even know if she submitted. I asked her, she said okay, she was probably kidding, but I said, don't even show him anybody but me. And she goes, okay.
Well, look, you're the fucking spitting image. It's crazy.
When I found out about the script, I sent her a picture. I'll put it up here.
Yeah.
Of 4 pictures, 2 of me and 2 of Harold Ramis, where we just look. That's another thing. It's like how much of this business of casting really is. I think it goes most important what you look like, second most important if people like you, and then your talent.
God, that sucks. Do you think that's real? I mean,
I do think that's real.
Yeah, the looks are super important, obviously. That's right.
It is, right? I mean, specifically if you're playing a certain person, but you play a certain type. The fact that you wear glasses,
yeah,
all your roles are glasses guys.
When I first started working, I would get these tips from my manager and from my family. Like my dad would say to me, never wear your glasses in an audition because they don't know what you look like without them. They can always put glasses on you. And my manager used to say, lie about how tall you are. You're too tall to be in scenes with other people. They're too short for, And I just never did any of that shit. And then later my dad was like, you were right to wear your glasses. Now you're that guy. And yeah,
it's easier to get that guy roles.
Yeah.
But it's harder to get. This is such a blanketed statement, but it is hard. It's going to be hard for us to be leading men.
Yeah.
Because of our height and glasses, unless we create something ourselves.
I always think about, it's like my mom would be like, you got to work out more and get nice and trim. That way you can get those big roles. And it's like, I don't want to be in the running for that fucking nightmare world of being like a movie star. It's insane. I make a perfectly good living. I get to work all year round. I'm not just like, I don't know. It's a weird bag. I'm just lucky to be working at all. But I feel even luckier that I'm not like, I don't know, Chris Pratt's a bad example because he was like me and then became a movie star.
He's also, he's unbelievable. Not to say you're not.
Oh,
but,
no, he's
but
amazing.
in Parks and Rec,
Parks and Rec is my favorite
blown
show.
away by him.
It's my favorite show.
More than The Office?
Yes.
Wow.
I never got to be in Parks and Rec either, which is a real tragedy. But I tested against Chris Pratt for that role in Parks and Rec, and he is so much better than me in that role.
That's one of the greatest. That's one of the greatest comedy roles I think of all time, and he is I don't know. I think he's 6th on the college. I think he was because I remember when I did the 6th lead. I did a web series about being the 6th lead on Undateable.
Yeah,
and it was and I did a scene in the first. I did 5 episodes. A scene with Bill Lawrence. I'm talking to him about how I want like Chris Pratt. I was compared. He was 6th on the call sheet. He's like, you want to be in Jurassic Park, and it was, that's a movie star, man.
Yeah, I test for that role. For Andy Dwyer, it was myself, Chris Pratt, who I had no fucking clue who Chris Pratt was.
That was his first thing.
I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Yeah, Nick Thune, and one of the Duplass brothers. Can't remember which one. And that was a crazy.
Just the 4 of you guys.
Yeah, and then we had to do a scene with Rashida where we were being interviewed together, and the interviewer was Amy Poehler.
Cool.
It was so fucking stressful. And the way I played it was like a really smart guy who was just a lazy asshole.
Glasses.
Who made his girlfriend do everything for him. And obviously the way Chris did it was like, I'm so lovable, I don't know any better. And it's like, ugh. fucking slam dunk.
That is to be that kind of lovable is it's not even an acting ability. It's just that's a person.
Yeah.
I think of Adam Devine all the time. I've used that reference with something else too. There's just something about those two guys. I think of those two guys because I guess I don't know, like just in today's world because they've existed. Farley's the king of it. But like to be able to be a buddy, like. I can't. I'm going to be the get me a fucking Gatorade guy. And when it works, it works. But to be able to be a buddy like that, it's just so likable.
It's like David, reminds me of David Spade. You know what I mean? He's obviously a different personality, but it's like, fucking just love that guy. He's like your sidekick,
Yeah, which is interesting because he is a sharp, shitty, but there is something very likable about Spade.
Because he's always trying to, it doesn't matter who he's shitting on. He's always trying to make you laugh while he's doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, right? Am I right? I don't know.
Well, I want to end this just because.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so sorry. I mean,
no. Not, I'm talking so much with you because I'm having such a good time.
Okay.
I would love to have you back sometime, especially after you do. It's called Lucy, right?
It's called Being the Ricardos.
Being the Ricardos, to hear some experience about working on that.
Oh yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's during COVID too, so
Yeah, I start working in less than 2 weeks during COVID.
On your show?
Mm-hmm. I just got my first COVID test yesterday.
Fuck yeah, man!
Very excited.
I'm so happy for you, man. That is such a great. So do you have like a cast and everything?
Yeah, we're filming episode 2 in 2 weeks. We filmed the pilot already.
Fuck.
I auditioned for the show in April of 2019. It's going to come out at the earliest end of 2021. God,
this year. See, when I did this David Wayne pilot, we shot it in the middle of February. March rolls around, everything gets shut down, and I'm like, this is a slam dunk because no other pilots are getting shot. This is a guaranteed pickup. And then it was TBS, and they sort of folded in on themselves at that exact moment, and it just went south. But
will you send it to me? I'll remember to ask you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I have the link that David sent me, so it's like a Vimeo thing.
All right, well, we're about to end this, but if you want to check out some exclusive episodes, bonus content behind the scenes, blah, 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 patreon.com/takeyourshoesoff, where we will also see some fun slow motion rewind comedy and Nelson looking up who some casting directors are so we could put in the voiceover. Do you want to plug your Instagram or anybody else's Instagram?
Yeah, sure. I'm at Nelson Mode Squad, which is an embarrassing Instagram name, but I've been on it since 2011, and it's a Busta Rhymes reference.
I also want to make sure I know what it is before I forget. Ted Munz. It's TEDMUNZ Mosaic Art. MOSAICART. He makes mosaics. I don't know if you could see from there. This Take Your Shoes Off one. It's been up for like 4 or 5 episodes now.
I know that. Yeah, I've known about it. Yeah.
So I just wanted to shout out. I feel like it's here, and I put it in the description before. But thank you, and check his stuff out, and they're fucking awesome. I guess he's kind of like taking over the podcast market. He has all these big podcasts now. But anyway, so check out either Ted's Instagram or Nelson's. Follow one of them, not both. And okay.
Thanks.
Is that it?
Yeah, I have enjoyed this very much. Thank you.
Well, stay in the seat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start the theme music, and then we have to have you look up the voiceover.
Scoot doo, blabbity blue, scoop